I didn't get paid.
We'll take this opportunity to welcome everybody from the RSPW. Here you guys to come all this way. What we like you to do is we'll try to do this like this by raising your hand, and we'll just call you one at a time. Please say where you're from, what your name is, and who you were asking the question to, and we'll kind of go from there. So we'll be right up. Let's go at it. Anybody? Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
We got a question right over here.
That guy got that baseball shirt, that red show up good on them sleeves. On them yellow sleeves there. We get that shirt at home.
That's Shane Douglas' home,
All right, don't be shy.
Don't be shy, ask away. Anybody got a question for anybody? That's what we're here for. Come on, Dave. You must have questions. Yeah, you. Wherever you are. There you are.
You look real good like that.
Started off better with that tin in his hand. Very great.
You guys watch the title for last night with you?
Oh, shit, who told me? He wasn't there. He didn't tell me nothing. If that's what you want to call it, yeah.
What happened?
Shit happened.
2-on-1? I wasn't there. I
made some fine sign.
Get it. You must be back in 5 times or something. Go ahead. Tell me what to tell me. I'll tell him down. You can tell him. Really isn't too hard to beat Richards and Raven. I mean, we control the whole match. We beat. And the second time these guys ran in on us. Tonight you're in for a real treat. Because number one, you really did hit me in the head with the club and hurt me. That pissed me off. Number two, they cut my hand all up with a bottle. That pisses me off. And number three, I want my belt back, because that's where it belongs on me and Johnny. So tonight, you're in for a real treat tonight. Believe me. So get your swinging arms up good, because there's going to be chairs being thrown all over the ring. And I hope somebody out there from the 5th row can reach the ring.
Anybody? Yeah.
Where do you see the promotion at a year from now?
Me personally? Well, I hope by then we'll be national. I hope by then we'll be running at least 8 to 10 states. I think in the next couple of months we'll probably be running. We're running New Orleans starting in August, so we'll start going down south. We're in Florida again in July. We're in New York July 28th. So just this month alone we'll be in Pennsylvania, New York, and Florida. Next month we're going to be in New Orleans. That's already a 4-state swing, and hopefully we can just keep expanding from there. But the idea is to find our own niche and just keep running, as many states as we can where people want to see our product. Yeah.
A lot of people, there's some critics that say you guys tone down your violence and go national. No, I agree with you guys. Don't get me wrong.
Basically, I'll tell you the truth. We've had opportunities already to go places that were much larger than where we are now if we were willing to alter our product. But we're not willing to do that. That's not what we're about. Our product is a violent product. We're hardcore, we're violent, and that's what people we're playing to. We don't want to play to a different audience. We know we can only go so far with it, but that's far enough. I mean, that can support this entire federation, just the people who are hardcore all over the country. That's what we're going to play to. We're not going to change anything. Yeah.
I'm from Pittsburgh. TV stations we've been on and they're like the worst.
We're trying to clear KBL over there. We've had problems over time slot. We've had problems over content.
Yeah.
They're one of the ones who have a problem with our content.
Yeah, you were on 63, and the only people who can get that are people actually in the city of Pittsburgh.
We are, you know, you're right. One of the places we're lacking is Western Pennsylvania, where we have not penetrated that anywhere near where we should. It is definitely one of our major, you know, first kind of goals. I mean, I would think that's when we're going to be focused on early fall, trying to really start to work Western Pennsylvania. Well, that would be
one.
after TV, sure. Yeah.
You gonna enter Ohio though?
We have no plans yet in Ohio. That is definitely somewhere on our agenda, yes. Massachusetts is something we're looking at, hopefully around Christmas.
Philadelphia, Virginia.
At this point, we're on one station in Virginia. I don't know what the name of what the station is. I don't know if you pick it up or not. We are on somewhere in Virginia. I don't know where. We have not thought about any running there yet, though.
That's Flat TV in Richmond.
Thanks, Ed. What's the name of it?
It's called Flat TV in Richmond.
Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it's local access.
Remember the time we played station? And it's been on.
No.
They're listed to be on and it's been on.
What about Birmingham?
Birmingham, well, we had a problem in Birmingham because of the new station owner. The station was sold. New general manager, new owner came in and said, "What are you playing at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning?" Because you have to understand, the first people in Birmingham, they were very supportive of this product. They loved the show. They said, now we're on UPN network. That's not like our regular cable stuff. It's over the air broadcast. And I said, "Do you have any problem with our content, et cetera, et cetera?" And the guy said, "Oh, we love it. Curse, swear, barbed wire, go for it." Oh, okay, we'll get you. That's what we do. And then about 3-4 weeks ago, there was a change in management and ownership, and they pulled the show temporarily. They wanted to put it on at like 3 a.m. We said no, so we're off the air temporarily in Birmingham. Yeah. Absolutely. We should move up to that.
Any plans to stand a television show or live shows down in the Maryland area at this point?
No, Maryland with their state athletic commission.
Live shows.
We ran a show in Maryland about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
We walked into the building. The guy from the state athletic commission greeted us at the door. He was about 4'10", 4'11". He said, "If you spit, I close the show down. If you swear, I close the show down. If you go out of the ring barriers, I close the show down. If you bleed, I close the show down." I said, "You want the WWF? You got the wrong crew here." So we never went back to Maryland. We just can't run Maryland. Not with our product.
I didn't think you could run the live shows, but if there are any plans for television, because I've been trying to get people to come up here from Maryland, but I don't really have the TV to try to back it up, because this is what these guys do, try to get them interested in the product.
We don't really push our TV show into areas that we're not trying to run live events out of. I mean, our number one focus, obviously, is to get in the market where we're eventually going to try to run live shows. Yeah.
When you first started running Hamburg, you thought it was pretty good to have it first time with no TV. How come you haven't gone back to this year yet?
We weren't really as happy with it. We weren't as happy with the building, the people in the building, not the people, not the fans, but the people around the building. And quite honestly, we didn't think the people there reacted to the product the way we wanted them to react. That area of the state is still an area we're interested in, but I don't think that facility is what we're going to come back to. Maybe the Alcohol in Allentown, something like that. Okay, Jeff, back here.
What's the current plan for ECW to grow?
No plan right now, other than we're targeting January 1 to be our target date to start formulating a date to put one together. We pretty much had decided we wait till the end of this year, in 1995, and January 1, 1996, sit down and start meeting with taking companies and see what we can work out. There's not a lot of opportunity right now, because quite honestly, Vince and Turner have really, closed in almost the entire market by having these monthly pay-per-views. So there's only so many companies you can do them with and run them through. And these people are basically now booked 12 months a year. And that was certainly a concerted effort on their part to keep other people from running pay-per-views. And And, we're trying to, find our spot in there somewhere. I think once we do it, sort of like UFC, I think we can kind of take off, except kind of blow those doors off what they did their first time out. Yes?
How do you mentioned the monthly pay-per-view problems, and there's such a market out there now that is being diluted with all the pay-per-views. People just don't want to buy every 3 weeks from WCW, WWF. How do you think your company can compete in that kind of environment?
Well, number one, I think you got to be crazy to run a pay-per-view every month. I think that, like you said, number one, the product didn't have much to start with right now, and diluting that product leaves you with goddamn next to nothing. If we were doing the pay-per-views, I think we wouldn't do more than 3 a year time. I think it has more importance here. The idea of a pay-per-view is supposed to be this is important. This is something you want to have everybody spend money all around the country to see. It's not another house show. Our house shows, in my opinion, are better than any pay-per-view they've shown all year long. We would want to build up to a pay-per-view like this is something like of importance. I mean, make it worth somebody spending their 25 or 29 or whatever the hell they charge dollars for the pay-per-view. Yeah.
So you guys are building up a lot of bigger names. You got a lot of talk about some of the people that you made in the stars. What are you guys gonna do to keep them from going?
Well, number one, let me correct you. I don't think we've made anybody into stars. I think they've all made themselves into stars. I really do. I mean, what separates us, you can talk about the great booking and the great angles and the great creativity. What separates this federation from any other one is the work rate of the wrestlers. Every one of these guys, especially, you can take these four at this table right here, and it goes all the way through that whole dressing room. Every single one of these guys do 110%. And it's an old cliche, but it's true. They bust their ass every time they walk out that door. They give each one of those matches gives you your money for it. Let alone the fact that everyone does.
I think your main guys that are your heart of your ECW, your real hardcore wrestlers, your real violent guys, first of all, they don't want us to begin with. We have no place to go. This is it. This is our home. This is where we feel comfortable. Me and Johnny, there's no other federation in probably a major federation like WCW or WWF that will accept us and let us do what we're able to do. If we go to the WWF, we're just 2 more bushwhackers, or 2 more, right, or 2 more, that's what they're going to turn us into, and that's not what we want to be. Because we can wrestle, and damn sure we can brawl with the best of them, and they're not going to let us do any of that stuff there. And another thing that you people might not be aware of, there's only about 30 guys in each organization that are really making some real serious big dollars. Right, and we're not doing bad here. We're probably doing as good as some of their underneath, their million underneath guys. So I'd rather stay here, and I think a lot of the real hardcore guys, believe in this too. I'd rather stay here and watch this grow and take my shot here than to go there and become a watered-down version of the Public Enemy, because it's just going to be the shit. And I'm sure he can make money with us just doing interviews. But I don't know if we'll be happy.
But if you see us a couple months from now walking around, don't
The only thing is, don't write on your computers, please, that we're the bushwhackers. God damn, that's the last thing, because we really can wrestle if we want to. I mean, we like the violence. That's what we're good at. But man, I'll tell you what, I can wrestle with the best of anybody. And if someone thinks I can't get in there and wrestle and stay right with Benoit, you're crazy. I've done it in Japan, and I can do it again. That's right. So, and we can wrestle as good as anybody. We choose this version here, because I wrestled for 15 years, and it didn't get me nowhere. And I was way ahead of my time as a wrestler. I mean, I was doing moonsaults before Sabu even got in the business. I was doing moonsaults before Muda knew what a moonsault was. And nobody cared. But as soon as I picked up a frying pan and blasted someone in the head, I started making money. So you know goddamn well, you put something in my hands, I'm using it.
Yeah. So Robert, you said about bringing the frying pan to the arena. Okay, cops stopping you bringing stuff in anymore.
That pisses me off. Why are they doing that?
We need to stop stop me from bringing
No, that's, you bring your stuff in, you bring the stuff up to the door, and you take the stuff off, and you know, just like you
at the ECW Arena?
The arena, they won't let you take nothing in, they do the rest of the flag, the last of the flag stuff.
Things like that, baseball bats, took them all away.
I mean, I can understand. I understand like it's a small.
Well, maybe while Bill Alfonso's in town, we could keep it that way. We may have a ride on our hands. But no, I was not aware they were taking them away. The only place I knew they took them away was in Florida, because those people down there were flabbergasted. We went into Fort Lauderdale, and I had a cop go to me, his face was like white as a ghost. He said, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" He goes, "We confiscated almost 65 signs." He said, "I've never been down, I don't know what this is, I don't understand where I am, what is going on here, explain it to me." I mean, you should have seen the cost they had. People, I mean, these people came loaded for bear. The one guy had a bar, something wrapped in barbed wire. What was that? Baseball bat with his spikes and barbed wire. I mean, these guys came. It was scared us a little bit. Yeah.
Well, what has, how did the Tampa management react after the whole thing with the chairs going in the ring?
Very poorly.
No, we weren't happy, but, you know, it became an issue of security, and down in Tampa, the building was responsible for security. Now, up here in Philly, we supply our own security. We're the ones who bring those cops to the arena, and we're the ones who try to keep law and order. But down there, that was their job. They were ill-prepared for what they were walking into. I mean, I don't know, maybe they thought they were walking into just a regular Florida independent show. I have no idea, but they were for a rude awakening, obviously, and we have since straightened things out, and we are going to be back in that building in Tampa, and I think it's the same building in July 21st or 2nd.
What you said, the security when the fans were better armed than the cops there.
So maybe that's why they're taking stuff away to the door. I mean, certain security, you know, they make their own decisions about that, but we can handle the security up here, so I was not aware that cops get into the door. Yeah.
I'm Billy.
All right. Somebody remember to say where they were from. Out of the first 500 people to explain.
We won't hold that against you, though.
Okay, first of all, can you tell us what's happening with the reorganization of the company? And second, how do you think that reorganization will affect products?
There's not a whole lot to really tell about the reorganization of the company. I can tell you that most of what you've read is like true. About 25% of it is probably based in reality, and 75% is either fiction or people's hopes and wishes and dreams. But I can tell you, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I started this baby years ago. This has been my heart and my soul since day one, and I have no intention of going anywhere. What we've done is brought in some outside people to bring an influx of money and to try to get us to the next level. I mean, it's not a matter of, you know, any problems or anything like that we've read. We're just trying to be able to, we never knew when we got in the videotape business that we were going to have the kind of, you know, orders and demand for videotapes. I mean, we were basically totally ill-prepared. I mean, we just had no clue. And now we're trying to catch up. In order to do that, you need a bigger studio, you need a bigger production facility, you need a bigger dub house. I mean, you need more facilities, and, you know, it takes a lot to run a company. So all we did was brought in some outside people who just put some investment into the company along with ourselves, and that's really it in terms of reorganization. It won't affect the company at all. We're just going to keep growing at the rate we're growing now.
Are you looking for any arenas bigger than the ECW Arena right now, around Philly?
You know, that's like the most asked question we have. I don't even know where the ECW Arena is, and I'd come if I knew. But we love the ECW Arena. It's home. You know, it's a place we can go in with a branding iron on fire, you know, burn the building down. There are a whole lot of places you can do that in any state or city. Tell me why you like the ECW Arena better.
I think if you take the rest on that, I think you can do one or two big shows a year. If you wanted to go to Penn Hall, if you know, the Civic Center, or, you know, make a special deal. But if you take that TV taping out of that arena, you're going to hurt the ECW. And that's my opinion. That arena is our home. That's where we belong, and that's where we should stay. If we become a national company, and we start to compete on a head-to-head level with any of the big organizations, they should still take right out of that hall. Just like Vince should have stayed right now in town. And he did. He could have always kept that building and taped out of there.
I think everybody feels comfortable in there, including the wrestlers, the fans. I mean, everybody, when they're in there, it's like, you know, it's like a cult, and do what you want. And because, like you said, you go to another building, you know, they might not want Sandman to smoke, or, You might not want the rods to leave car shit you all over the place. As far as red tape with the arena, with, you know, the agreement Todd can have, we can, you know, like you said, burn the house down if we have to.
Got a good landlord there.
Yeah.
The best,
As long as you pay for it, you do whatever the hell you want.
the best thing about the arena is when you leave the dressing room, the fact that it's wall-to-wall people. There's no place that you can look to find an empty seat. There's you know, I was just today watching WWF TV and it's TV tape. There's empty seats in the front row, and all along ringside. You know, when you watch our TV product, that building's packed. That makes you feel that you want to be a part of that. You know, that's why people come from Chicago, and the Unabomb guy comes from Australia, all that stuff. You know, and you got Al Snow over there, and that's what makes the building the best is the atmosphere of the fans. Just as soon as the music hits to start the show, the loud pop that happens, you know, everything like that, and that's what makes everybody so psyched to go out there and work their asses off for 3 hours or 2.5 hours, where, you know, not a single person walks out of the building thinking they got ripped off. You know, and with most of the pay-per-views nowadays.
What are you talking about? I walk out there every month thinking I got ripped off.
Is there anybody,
How many dominating this whole conversation here?
how many people here have been to a show at the ECW Arena yet?
Experience. You could have the best restaurant on this side of the street. It could be beautiful. It could have the best table in it, and then you can have Joe's hot dog stand and rag shop on this side, and Joe's is packed. There's just something there. There's a magic.
Yeah.
And you don't move magic. You leave it alone. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. So that's why we're going to stay in that arena. And they came and they mentioned 3 or 4 times, we're going to go to the Civic Center, we're going to go to the Civic Center. I begged and pleaded, don't do that. Do not do that. You will hurt the ECW in the long run. So it's just magic, and there's no reason why. I don't know why I was a bum for a long time, and now I don't know why I'm real well known. There's no reason. I don't know the reason why sometimes they love you and sometimes they hate you. But whatever's working, just stick with it and keep going. Don't question it.
Again, if the product wasn't any good, the place wouldn't have any atmosphere because nobody would do it.
That's true. But the product just as good. There's been other buildings where there's been little no reaction, and you know, the product's the exact same product. I mean, the same work rate, the same everything. There is a magic. Well, for those who've never been there, you're one of those who've never been there. I guarantee you've never been there tomorrow, you would understand. Anything I could say to you will never justify the feeling you get being inside that building.
That comes over the fan.
It's electric from a half an hour before the show starts, and seconds the show ends. It's uncanny.
Question for all four wrestlers. How long have you guys been wrestling for?
Start with you, Ian.
5 years.
About 5 years.
Yeah. I ain't started yet.
17. I started when I was 28. Anybody was talking to me last night in the lobby. I told you what makes this company is the fact that you have the guys that bring you the brand of violence, like myself and Axel do, and then that Public Enemy does, that is what everybody relates to this company as being Extreme Championship Wrestling, which is all the blood and guts and gore and all that stuff. But what I said to you is, though, we still have the finest talent in the world, wrestlers, because like Rocco said, any minute, any of us can go out and wrestle. Just pure wrestling. But about you people have proven that the product you want to see is the guys that wrestle, and those are the guys that usually don't want to brawl, and the guys that can wrestle, that will brawl. And when I mentioned all the names, the Chris Benoit and everything like that, I said, don't ever forget, Rocco Rock's one of the best in the business. And people talk about him being a little older and everything else. Thanks, Bob.
What I'm saying is, the guy astounds you because you forget what he can do. That's why you go, oh, because you forget what he can do. So when you're watching a brawl, don't be surprised if like a wrestling match breaks out.
You can live your whole life and never go to a live event and see a guy like Rocco Rock take a bump from a stage to another stage through a wooden table to a flat, hard concrete surface.
Or through a scaffold, through a table.
It's incredible what these guys put their bodies
Or through a fat
just
guy.
for your entertainment. Yeah.
What's going on from New York? What's going on with Shane? Is he gone or?
I think that situation will probably be explained by Tuesday on television. One way or another. I don't want to tip our hands.
You gonna wrestle tonight?
Shane will be the building tonight, yeah.
Who's going to be new in ECW?
We've had some talks with some AAA people. There's no new name that I can tell you about that we are going to bring in. I can tell you that without exaggeration, and this isn't even close to being close to exaggeration, we must get 25 to 30 phone calls a week from people currently in the business looking for work. And that's surprising because they know that this is like the stiffest federation they're ever going to work in, where everybody goes out there and literally beats the living crap out of each other. I mean, this is no game. These guys go out there and beat the hell out of each other. I mean, you can't imagine seeing, unless you've ever been there live, to see what it's like to see this guy get hit in the head with a chair that would put a lesser man unconscious for, 2-3 hours. It's unbelievable.
I think you really never know who's going to show up here. It's what's great about ECW. I mean, you think about go back days. King Kong Bondi showed up here when he was in Bundy, when he wasn't around for I don't know how many years. Rick Steiner showed up here a couple months ago.
Funk came out of the box.
Even the Sheik resurrected, came out the grave and showed up.
I do think that's one of the beauties is that on any given show, at any given time, you never know who's come out of that back. Because usually when we do bring someone in, we very rarely will ever publicize it first. Because we love the pop of you guys give us when someone comes out unannounced.
You're getting out of the bottom.
I'm on the bottom. That's right. You want to hang out with that? That's right. We're doing pictures in the lobby. Yes.
I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, welcome.
Is primarily for Todd, but everyone can answer it. What goes through your head when Eddie Guerrero and Malenko are out there and a group of the fans start chanting boring and we want blood?
Better than that.
Better not, because the other fans will kill you.
It's funny you said that, but in this building specifically, it's like the fans police the fans. It's like, something like that happens, and the people who understand what they're seeing, they get really pissed if someone would try to, say something like that because they're trying to explain, it's almost like the fans police themselves here. The bleacher bums get their stuff going, and, Dave gets his chant started, next thing you know, everybody's kind of like, we don't really worry about what the fans do. One thing we do, anything you chant, we put on TV. As you know, the quote-unquote fuck taboo chant went on for about 50 minutes out of 60 one night on television. Madison Square Garden decided not to air that particular episode that week. That happens, but, we don't sit there. If you're booing somebody, if you're turning your back on somebody, whatever it is, we accept that. We're not perfect. We do the best we can. Everybody does the best we can in this organization. So if you boo, it's all right. We'll put it on. We don't care. We're not embarrassed to make mistakes. At least we're trying something different.
For the bingo chance, they moved bingo to Sunday night, so you get the next night.
That was always a hassle. For the first year and a half we were there, for those who don't know, they had bingo Saturday night at midnight. And we had to end our shows between 10 and 10:30. It's tough. Also, you got your main event coming up, and you have 3 minutes, and we're going to turn the lights out on you. So we had to cut a deal to get the bingo out of Saturday night. I've worked for some of the guys. Anybody? Any questions? Hacky and yes.
Hi, I'm Ray from Chief Office. I know you were in the New York market, and I know you said you won't go to New York because you had the problem with the State Athletics Convention.
No, that was
At the last convention, there was talk about possibly some problems.
We're going to be in New York July 28th. There's a lot of events.
Okay, so I was wondering if you're interested possibly in doing like a North Jersey tour,
show, but like, I know there is a convention center in my hometown.
Worse there.
Which is right between, right off.
Commission's a lot worse in Jersey than it is in New York right now. Commission's a lot worse in Jersey than it is in New York right now.
So I was wondering if you did a few shows, and I think once or twice.
We did Wildwood, we did a little bit in Jersey. There's no plans right now for Jersey, but we are going to be in New York in July. Yeah.
How is your whole movement as a boss? I did not say his name.
Igoraki.
So, how's that going, and is that going anywhere, and also you negotiating with any other organizations?
In Japan? No, we really don't negotiate with any organizations. Mickey who's a promoter in Japan, who is, smart enough to pick guys like the Public Enemy and the Sandman and the Pitbull to work some shows over there when they're not working here. And that shows a lot of foresight. So I'm sure he'll be able to make money out of that, and I'm sure he'll start drawing some nice houses out of that. So we got the best, pick the best of the lot.
Excuse me? Well, for IWA.
That's true.
You all work for different companies.
That's true, that's true.
Everybody from the ECW.
Cactus Jack works for IWA.
Right, we all work for different companies. And, really, the ECW doesn't stop us or try to unite with just one company over there. They let us, the boys handle it themselves and book themselves in, as long as it doesn't interfere with the ECW show.
There's so many companies over there, we try not to just rest up at one company. We'd rather just, get out and spread out, work with different companies.
Yeah.
This is for Ian. After tonight, I was wondering if there's going to be another Flash match, possibly. And also, do you feel pain? Because I know.
Do I know there'll be another glass match? I'm not really sure. Match. As far as there being another glass match, I'm not really sure because I don't know if the company's all that hot on the match in the first place. But would I do another one? I have to answer that after tonight. As far as the pain question, even though I know it's a little inside joke from everybody was in the lobby last night. The group in general, I mean, us right here have had some wars between each other. Broken teeth. I knocked Rocco out cold. I split the back of Johnny's head open. Johnny returned the favor in Wildwood, New Jersey to me. You get what you pay for. To pay $25 to sit in the front row is a pretty steep price for the pain is the price we pay for having the audience that we had. So no, because of the audience, until afterwards I don't feel pain. That's when it comes later. Rocco in the first baseball bat match did the flip off the scaffold, and we both went through the table, and I dislocated my shoulder and never even knew it. I mean, because it was just that type of match, it's that type of atmosphere. And when you love doing what we do, and we get the responses that we get, you don't even bother with it. It's like, well, it'll go away. It'll go away thing. Just like Shane wrestling for, 20 minutes? After he dislocated his shoulder against Funk. You feel it afterwards. This guy, right here, has worked where...
broken ankle.
Yeah, where moving was a job in its own right, let alone going to the ring and doing a moonsault and landing on his feet or doing a 1.5 flip and everything else. A lot of people, this is a question I want to answer you. A lot of people say, could this company survive 4 or 5 nights a week? Could the guys do it 4 or 5 nights a week? Hell no. There's no way.
No.
But would we give it a damn good try? I think any of us sitting here would say, yeah. But everything we do, we go out and give it our all. If we went 4 or 5 nights a week, we probably have to tone it down a little bit as far as what we do to each other. But I don't think you would see much of a change in the product, but everybody in this company works with pain, because what they deal with, like tonight, these guys will go into the ring, Johnny will go with a hurt wrist, Rocco will go with a cut hand, my arm's all beat up from the back. You know, people will go into the ring tonight and they'll work as hard as possible, you know, for as long as they can to give you guys a great product. And that's what makes ECW ECW, because the wrestlers that are here are the wrestlers that still give a shit. You know, they still got desire, and they still got the will to make something big out of their own backyard. You know, like I was saying last night, when you have an organization where everybody in it's already made their money, they don't give a shit, because they're still going to collect a fat check, and you know what the fans get, they don't care. And that's you know, we're looking to make our big money. You know, and I think everybody's in this company, once they made big money, we still not forget how they got that big money.
You know, I don't even think it's about the money, because you've been to the arena, you know what it's like. You know there's times in that arena that there's a man, he's either standing up on a ledge, he's either in the bird's nest, he's either on a top corner pole, and he has to make a decision. Should I jump? Should I stay? And in his mind, the other federation, he says, I will jump, everything is fine. I'm not going to get hurt, because I'm only jumping off the second rope, or maybe the top. Everything is fine. But once you get up 10, 15 feet and you decide to go through a table or whatever, you're jumping, but in your mind, you're not sure if everything's going to be all right, because there's at least 25 times in my mind I said, I hope when I hit, I can get back to my feet, because I don't know if I'm going to be all right sometimes. And a lot of these guys don't know after they're going to do a spot or do something, if they're going to be all right. You never go down the line and jump off and through a couple of tables, or moonsault guy outside the ring, or do any of these crazy things and say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get hurt. You're never sure if you're going to get hurt. You're thinking it's going to turn out all right. But you know what? The chances are you could be hurt real bad. And that's what I think makes ECW different, and that's why you fans appreciate it. Because you know in your mind, hey, this son of a bitch can get hurt. This ain't no joke.
Can get hurt.
And guys have been hurt real bad. A lot of times we've been hurt real bad.
After any given show, and I tell you this, in my hand on the Bible, that locker room looks like a damn mass unit. I mean, everybody's getting stitched up. Somebody's got this arm in his leg. I mean, this is after every show. I mean, if people watching that, they can't appreciate how hard these guys are working, and, you know, they don't belong there. That's why I said we won't play to the whole world. We play to the people who
Tell me what you were thinking when you were on top of the scaffold.
Here's what happened. I climbed up the scaffold, and I didn't realize how fast I was going up. I turned around, and I said, you idiot. What are you doing up here? I looked down, it was far. It was really high, like ridiculous height where you could really get hurt. I know he got hurt. There's no way of avoiding it. I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to hurt myself. But once I was up there and I turned around and I just seen a million fans screaming and yelling and going crazy, I said, there ain't no turning back now. I just shut my eyes and went for it. And that happens a lot. And I have a couple of things on my mind right now that I want to do that no one in the whole world has ever done or even seen. And I'm thinking about doing them. And I tell him, I says, I want to do this. And he says, you're out of your fucking mind. But I'm sure somewhere down the line, I'm going to do it.
Rocco's taking a few too many frying pans today.
And the sad part is, even though 95% of the people say, you're crazy, don't do that, you're really going to get hurt bad this time. I won't tell anybody what I'm going to do. Because I know there's still 4% of these guys out there. If I tell them, they'll beat me to it. And that's where we're really competitive in ECW. I mean, we had Sabu here. And I appreciate Sabu. Sabu was pissed off at me because I was using his gimmick he claimed. I never got mad when he started doing moonsaults, and I was doing them 10 years before him. But he got pissed at me, and it's not that he's pissed at me, it's that competition that we all have. I see him break a table, okay, I gotta break 2. If he went to 2, you'd be damn sure I'm going to 3. And it's that competition that makes us even get better and better. And every time you come to the show, you say to yourself, oh my God, this show they can't do something better. They can't do something better. Scorpio can't do a single flip and land on a guy. And then I see this fucking, he's doing sideways triples and dropping a leg across the guy's face. Guys constantly getting better. It's not regressing, it's going forward. So that's what makes the ECW unique. And the bosses never come in and say, hey, knock it off, stop. They say you want to kill yourself, it's up to you. You know, but they never stop you.
We were trying to put together a new match, so we don't know that they drew, 19,000 people last week? Or kissed my foot back, and I said, we'll put together, kiss my ass, man. 20,000. That could be the Rock's new match. Yeah.
Okay.
During the interview skit, they're like hilarious. I have to stop the tape when I'm watching the live. How do you get through it?
How do you get through those interviews? They are the best damn interviews going. Actually, it's just natural. Most of our
we're goofy to begin with.
Most of our interviews are usually, very seldom we do more than one take. We usually do them in just one take. We just actually, work good off each other.
And we have the freedom to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
No boss stands over us and says, okay, you got to do this, or this. Well, I want to confine to this. They never do that to us. So we give them an idea and we say, we want to do this. They say, go, all right, give it a shot, see how it comes out. They never stop us. So guys in the other federations don't have that.
If you don't listen to the input from the talents themselves, then you're missing probably half of the best ideas you're going to be able to come up with. Obviously, they know a whole lot better what they're capable of doing and where they can go with certain things and what they're comfortable with, instead of putting them in a position where they have to get comfortable with what you want them to get comfortable with. Therefore, you're going to let them be themselves, and let's be honest, everything in the Federation damn near is a shoot.
Yeah, that's what's good about this too. I could say our locker room and that, and most of us in other locker rooms and that, and a few of you work for other big companies that, and everybody's on pins and needles, and you're afraid to say something in front of somebody because they're going to run back and tell the boss or whatever. So, like us, when we screw up, we usually have the boss with us screw up with us, so we have nothing to worry about.
Speaking of other locker rooms, I've done barbed wire matches for other federations and stuff like that, where the talent coordinator or the matchmaker, booker, whatever you want to call it, afterwards hasn't even come to thank me or to say, I appreciate that, you worked your ass off. I've never once not been greeted by this man when I come through the curtain to be told, thank you, you worked your ass off, are you all right? Thank you, I appreciate everything you did tonight. And that's another thing that makes for a happy work environment is when you know what you're doing, it's being appreciated. And a lot of guys can say, that they've had disagreements and all that with either Tod or Paul or anybody that's involved. But the bottom line is we all still respect each other's efforts. And we really never. Hey, you're about. We never try to step on each other's toes as far as going out and when a lot of these guys do what they do, like Rock was saying, he wants to take it one more step, but if you tell somebody he's allowed to do it, it's a good possibility because you always want to walk through that curtain and have the boss say, yeah, that was great.
So what you guys do with the barbed wire is ungodly.
Yeah,
yes.
I think we all. And I'm wondering what's the latest on Chris Benoit? Is he staying or is he going?
Chris Benoit staying. He was supposed to be back July 15th for his next date, but he now is doing both sides of the Junior Cup tour. He now won't be back in the States till August 1st, but he is definitely staying in ECW. Yes.
When
When you're not wrestling during the week, what training and conditioning do you do to keep the pro wrestling shape?
Sorry, you score from real quick on the table.
First of all, you go see your doctor and see what's broken. That's the first thing for starters and stuff. Me, myself and stuff, you know, I have 6 kids in the family and stuff, so I used to take care of the family. I hit the gym. I eat. Anytime off in between that and stuff, you know, you out trying to make the little extra money that you can, you know, basically. You know, a lot of times people say, damn, man, you know, do you just do wrestling alone to survive? You know, once upon a time you could say, yeah. But nowadays, in this stage and age, you can't be sitting around, you know, waiting to say, man, when's going to be the next show? So, you know, you're constantly on the phone, you know, running when's the next booking is going to be, you know, and just trying to stay on top of things.
I watch a lot of tape during the week. I really do to see where I can improve myself, to see if was that Jane Fonda tapes or to see if I see something that has happened in the past that I can bring back, you know, that people haven't thought of in a long time. And yeah, you got to get on the phone. You got to call people. Where I live in Kentucky, you can always pick up shows during the week if you want to work. And you know, you pick up the phone, you call people, you try to drum up business for yourself. I don't really go to the gym or anything, but you know, me and Axel are individuals. You know, I guarantee you a lot of you noticed the change in Axel. Axel wants to be a WWF wrestler. The WWF can't accept me. I don't want to be a WWF wrestler. Yeah.
I think Axel will hear he would defend himself. So we'll let that fly right now. There's a little bit of heat between me and Axel, needless to say.
Hey, I don't have to shoot nothing in my ass.
DCs or what?
What's that supposed to mean? Uh-oh.
Like I said,
joke or what?
I don't shoot nothing in my ass.
Oh.
I'll talk for me and Johnny. We go to the gym pretty much 3-4 times a week, definitely.
Should have juice more.
Yep. We move furniture.
Have happy hour like.
We move furniture. Sometimes we steal some furniture and sell it. I can shoot. We do anything we can. You know, we're hustlers, man. We're street guys. Like, and it ain't really a whole big gimmick stuff. We're out there. We're hustlers.
Really?
And we buy and sell things. And for real. And
Business.
it's true. It's true. I'm going to deny it.
I thought we'd have to break in quarters right now.
And probably I hope we don't make really a whole lot of money, because then we'll be getting involved in them big things. They're definitely going to catch us then. We stay busy.
I'm pretty much the same thing. Every day, every morning, Monday through Friday, train hard in the gym, do a little bit of cardiovascular. And everybody else knows they hear what I do on the weekend. Of course, I don't usually have a water in my hands, always Coors Light as you guys put in your computer.
Unless he's drinking a 5th Jack Daniels with his sister fighting.
That's a dude. How are you, Mikey?
Oh. He's covered.
There must be some questions for Mikey. This is one of the great success
Oh, wait,
stories.
this guy's been trying to ask a question. What was your question?
Your name.
Roger or
Are you coming public? Is it bigger?
On my what?
You're in public, your name.
What's the
Am I getting it? No, we had some problems in the beginning with the rap group. Is that what you're talking about? We had a few problems in the beginning using the name, and they threatened to take us to court, and then they threatened to sue us. And then we went into like a negotiation stage with them and all, and then we found out that because they're a rap group and we're wrestlers, we still have the right to use the name, and we really don't have a problem with the name. So
Don't use your logo?
Right.
as long as we don't put out a rap song.
Yeah. Public enemy right now, the group is also,
Yeah, it's disbanded.
play went his way, and,
Actually, it was Chuck D that was giving us a hard time, right? John?
well, now with Russell Simmons.
Russell Simmons owns the rights to the name.
But,
He was the guy giving us a hard time.
since they sold out to Tony, and it's all
changed.
no problem, you know.
No
Matter of fact,
problem.
they're big fans of ours.
Well, look at Sting. He used the name, and, you know,
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, my question is for Scorpio. Out of all the guys you said, there's maybe one guy that can wrestle one of the big two, basically, for all intents and purposes. I mean, since you're so recently coming over from them, maybe, can you give what can you tell us about as far as what you see in the locker room,
You know, just like you were saying earlier, you know, to start with the locker room thing, you know, you got a whole lot of bullshit and politics going on when you start talking about the big leagues and stuff that's going on. You know, you come down here, you know, everybody's on the real deal, you know, it's straight, you know, everybody's on the level, you know, ain't nobody ever trying to pull no punches, ain't nobody ever trying to sell no wolf tickets. You know, when you start talking about, like, the WCW, half the people in there is family. Okay, so you got to keep this in mind, you know, either their cousins or their uncle or my brother's married to his sister. You know, so everything in there is related. You know, you start asking yourself, is there a little bit of inbred in here? You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know, that's just in some organization that you be in. As far as being up in the WWF, I can't really say what goes on up there, but from what I hear, it's basically the same old thing, a whole lot of politics. You know, and then you start talking about, you know, WCW compared to theirs coming to here, you talking about a 75% say realistic showmanship, you know, type of a show. You know, WCW, WWF, that's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? You come down here and say this to the extreme. You know, it's the old style of wrestling, you know what I'm saying? I got in a fight with this man over here last night, you know what I'm saying? Last week, we was out having a bet. You know, this week, he down here busting my mouth and shit, you know what I'm saying? So you know I'm going to get his ass and shit. That's on another level. You know, but the thing is down here, you know, it's realistic. You know what I'm saying? And that's the good thing about it, you know. The people down here appreciate what you do. You go out, you give 110%, just like my man saying. If you come off with a scalpel on two motherfucking table and people go, ooh, ah, and he get up and walk and he know he did his job right. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do to make a living. You know what I'm saying? We go out, we wrestle. Unfortunately, we get to go out and kick butt and get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's keeping us out of trouble on one hand, you know what I'm saying, which is good. You know, it's like for the people over here public enemas, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, but the difference there, man, is the realistic, man. I mean, you're more here on the level. You know, there, you know, you start talking about a whole lot of politics. You know, and it's good to make a change, you know, and come to reality, you know, because I started out, you know, and say independence and working my way up where a lot of guys just happen to be at the right place at the right time and got a gimmick and got a push. You know, like most people that you see sitting here at this table had to start at ground zero and work their way up and still working their way up, you know, to hit the big leagues and the big money. You know, but then again, like they say, it ain't all about the money. It's all about the people being happy, being satisfied. Just like you said, if I go out and I do a back, flip, leg drop, or whatever, and people go, ooh, I like that, then I did something. You know what I'm saying? But if you got people over there sitting on their hands talking about, damn, man, I've seen this shit, you know, WCW, you know, we want to see that, you know what I'm saying? I seen you miss the guy by 3 feet. Motherfucking chicken bumper fell out the ring and sold for 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't want to see that. You know, so it's just the real deal, man, that makes a big difference, you know. The fans and themselves, who really appreciate it, really makes it good. You know.
Right back there at Blue House.
Yes, get your names and everything. How did you get motivated or got turned on or interested in professional wrestling?
Over you, Mikey.
I had a question.
How did you get into professional wrestling?
I really wasn't interested in this. And I used to put up the ring.
So in other words, you're the ring crew man, right? This is like a ghost, right?
This is a real Rocky Balboa, right? And, no, I just got the ring. And one day I just asked Sonny Blaze, train me, tell me, you know, and one day I was, you know, working out in the ring with a friend of mine, and Foley, he said, oh, I just kept getting my ass kicked in my ass, kicked in my ass.
How many people saw the match with Mikey against Sabu? Was that one of the best matches you've ever seen? I've been asked to make a special announcement. I believe we're being graced, if that's the word, by the World Heavyweight Champion. If he would make his entrance, his grand entrance, he's an announcement unlike everyone else. He said, special announcement here for the World Heavyweight Champion, the Sandman. guys. I've added some new blood here for you, so there should be a whole another slew of questions coming out. I got one over in the back. There you go.
Dallas.
Hey, welcome.
And I was just wondering, perhaps, Mr. Gore, I was wondering if Mr. Gordon asked about the way.
Let me get the backbone. Hold on.
Perhaps give us any kind of medical information you have about Terry Funk. And Ian, I was wondering if you could compare your times in Sportatorium to the times here.
Real easy on Terry Funk. He's in traction as we speak. Terry Funk has some severe back problems. I mean, he's really having a majorly hard time even being able to walk today, let alone wrestle right now. So right now we just want to see if we can get Terry a little bit healthy, and then we'll kind of go from there. But right now he is really in traction in the hospital as we speak.
The Sportatorium is a great building. It's a damn shame what's happened to the history that was in that building, because there's no wrestling in it right now whatsoever. So maybe give you Dallas, you got a building. As far as comparing to the ECW Arena, the fans are nowhere near the same, but the heritage will be there for the ECW Arena, I think 20 years from now, because I think this company will be around 20 years from now. When people come into the ECW Arena, they'll feel the same. And I'll still be cheering. They'll feel the same thing that they feel when they go into the Sportatorium, that it's a great building, or walking in the Madison Square Garden, or the Omni, or any of those buildings. Like I said, the Sportatorium has had a lot of rich history in it, and I think the ECW Arena will have a lot of rich history in it, and I think people will be coming for many years to come to the ECW Arena.
Anybody? Yes, right over here.
Karen from Philadelphia.
Karen from Philadelphia.
I think
Everybody, hi, Karen. Hi, Karen.
one of your big draws is the fact that there's a lot of audience participation, and I know on the net one of the biggest topics is the fact that what happens with fans and vendors. Personally, I think it's a lot of buyer inside seat. I've been in this before, it's no big deal, but I've heard people say, well, what if somebody sues ECW, what would happen?
That's a very good question. If somebody does, someone tells us basically, no, I don't think that a fan comes in there and should know they're at risk. That's really not the way it should be. I don't believe that for a second. It just has to, I don't know what to say other than the fact that, the wrestlers, hopefully the fans are smart enough in this area to know that if the wrestlers are coming in towards their section, to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah, we just stand back.
Believe me, we don't want to see anybody get hurt. If someone does, we certainly can't open ourselves up to problems. We don't want to have that happen. I don't know how else to answer that.
Well, thanks about this. Back.
My name is Alan, and I'm in ECW meeting. My question is for Mikey. What Todd said about being one of the greatest successors and a great gimmick is definitely true. Do you feel that you're still saddled with this gimmick after, do you think you should be moving on and really being put as as the great worker that you are, or are you happy,
I'm just happy I'm still breathing.
If you notice Mikey's character and you notice the way he used to wrestle to the way he wrestles now, it's a total 100% complete change. Although he's still Mikey Whipwreck, he's made that switch, I think.
But it's not really a gimmick. We had a school of high school show, and Mikey couldn't wrestle after intermission. He had detention that day, so we were kind of...
I could have been a part of that one time I was
ready to come in. The first Florida swing, he was grounded for the weekend. So,
bottom line, Mikey's become a hell of a wrestler in the last.
Yes, he has. He's a hell of a talented wrestler. Mikey can do it all out there. Yes.
For Scorpio, is it true you train yourself, and if so, how the hell do you do that?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I trained myself. So I had a friend of mine that weighed about $125 and stuff, soaking wet. I happened to be sitting around the house doing nothing, getting full after a hard day's work and shit. I was painting on the house. Kept trying to talk me into going down watching him. I said, man, get out of here, man. You ain't no wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So I happened to go down there one day and I liked what he was doing. Got in the ring and it took to me, the first time I got in. I said, damn, I like this. I asked him if he got paid. He said, yeah. He didn't tell me how much. So I started training myself, of course, and stuff, and I've seen it on TV and everything and stuff. So I was going, I can do that and stuff. And I just started doing it and teaching myself, and I went in there, man. I thought I had a pretty good match. Got my butt kicked, we ain't gonna tell no lie and shit, but I made $20 and shit. And I was real upset. I thought you got paid in this sport. And finally learned out, it's something you work up to, before you start working the money. But as far as training myself and studying tapes, it really helped a lot. And I think with me going over to Japan and living over there for a year, it really helped me a lot in sharpening up on my skills and stuff for some of the things I probably didn't teach myself and stuff.
Back here in the blue hat.
The dojo basically is a place where they bring in a lot of the young Japanese boys in for training and stuff when you come in. I went over there 1 year before. They liked what I had and stuff, thought I had some potential. Basically, when you go in the dojo, you're like under strict rules. It's like basically going into the military or something like that, but not as strict. You go in, you wake up in the morning, you got chores, you got to clean, you got to sweep, you got to mop the dojo. The dojo's got to be clean. You go in, you train for about 4 or 5 hours a day. Starting out with good stretch, about an hour of weight. You get stretched, you work on shoot wrestling for about an hour, hour and a half. Then you do regular wrestling, and then you take a 4 or 5 mile run. And then you come back and then you work out some more and stuff. Basically, that was the day in the dojo. Basically after that, you did about 1,000 squats. You slept for the rest of the night, ate and got up and did it again for about 6, 7 months. And then as you get used to it, it starts to slack off a little bit because you're starting to work, you're working more. Unlike everybody else, you go to the shows, you have to go early. All the Japanese boys always come to the ring 2 hours early before anybody else gets there. The ring is set up, you have to run, you work out, you do 500 squats, you do 300 push-ups, you do 200 push-ups, you do all of this stuff basically before your match. And then after your match, you still have to go out and you have to do security on top of it and stuff. So the dojo in itself really teaches you respect for yourself and respect for others. So it was a real good training experience in itself. So if anybody ever gets the opportunity, ever get invited to go over there, it's something that you should never pass up or ever get a chance to do.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. You're one of the main persons here. You get bothered by some of the things that said with some of the names?
Like what you have to say sometimes?
Yeah, well,
I enjoy it, I like it.
I can attest to that. Yeah, back there.
Anything bad is said about either your matches or ECW in general?
Start with you, Cam. What was that again? You read the newsletter. I'm facing it.
Newsletters and get upset if anything bad is written about ECW and your matches?
No, because everybody has their own opinion. Who am I to say what they actually thought about it? In fact, I had a conversation with Tod about that yesterday afternoon, about somebody that wrote something about him, and I said, Tod, that's the guy's opinion. What can you say?
How can ECW have...
Wait, color engine?
Answer that question, right?
What I feel about the kayfabe, I feel the kayfabe sheet is a lot of news and a lot of it is true and a lot of it is bull. So it's just like anything else. It's just like the media. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it and take what it is and take what you think is good and take what you think is bad. You take your own opinion to it, like you say. Somebody talking about the ECW's bad. They're talking about something bad about you. Just like they say, that's your opinion. But when I go to that ring and shit and I come off the lookout rope, I hit them up. I would move for the 1, 2, 3. Booyah! There it is. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. How about you, Ian? The sheet?
Tell the truth. Right now.
I get told the stuff that certain people write about me, and no, I don't like it because the fans of ECW are unique fans, and I'd obviously give them something they want, and whether the idiots chant HIV and all that stuff, 10 minutes early they were chanting "We Want Blood," so you know, I really don't care. I think the sheets serve a purpose, but if they never came around, if Dave Meltzer or Wade Keller never came around, it wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit, because I think sometimes they ought to keep their fucking mouth shut and their typewriters closed.
I can't wait to read you.
Because I've said it 100 times, wrestling fans sometimes need to sit back. You know what you know, keep your mouth shut, and let the fans that believe in the business the way they're supposed to believe in it, believe in it, you know. And instead of knowing everything, I think every once in a while you should be left to be surprised. And I know as a wrestling fan, I was much more happier when I was being surprised than when I knew something happened.
If you're talking about being surprised, you come out from ECW, you'll have you surprised every day. You don't make a mistake, then you're going to keep
we don't know what we're going to do.
You know what I'm saying? So,
a lot of this stuff happens in this organization. I read the sheet. I don't mind anybody giving their opinion, pro or con, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. The only thing I would ever request in any of the sheets is if someone writes something that's fact, without speaking to people to find out if indeed it is fact. But in terms of opinion, no, I would never be angry at someone's opinion, pro or con, because that's just that, their opinion. They're certainly entitled to it.
I like the sheet, and I think that everybody just waits for it to come out. And I think you just got to be reasonable in your own head. You got to know, when you read it, you know some of the things in there might not be right, and you just have to be able to, think for yourself. But basically, it gives you a lot of information, and it probably brings all wrestling fans closer together and makes them more a part of the, of the actual show and the business. So there's been a lot of sheets that said some bad things about me, but there have also been, a lot of good things about it. And you just got to take the good with the bad. And I think it's the same as the internet. Communication. And communication is important because you could be stealing a car and it might have a TV in it or a police scanner, and they tell you that they're coming 4 blocks away and you can get the hell out of there. Now we got a damn low jack.
I think it's fair. Anybody who reads the sheet anyway, they usually know what the hell is going on before the sheet even prints it anyway. I mean, but it's kind of like the Inquirer. You got aliens having babies and shit. They write that, people are buying it. So,
Plus, it's very easy.
pay wage bills.
It's fun.
Sometimes get the mailing address from it before you
read something and it's fun.
And it's real easy to be gracious when 95% of what's written about you is positive, which has been the case so far. So it's pretty easy to be gracious. Like, you got the new crew coming in to do a turnover. 20 guys are going to give you up our seats.
Before the turnover, we have a presentation to make, and I will turn it over to the announcer of the new stars of New Frontier Wrestling, Scott Sullivan, also known as Ted Hopkins. Thank you. Got a couple of things here for folks. The official concert shirt, no matter what some people like to say. Somebody wore one of those last night after the ring, didn't they? No, it was good taste. Someone had to get theirs up to good. Thank you very much. I still got the back of my nose. They make special ones for the boys, but apparently people want the champs on the back, so I think you guys some of those after it's got to reprint them. The product I did, you put that up in your office?
No, nice. Thank you very much.
And you also be taking one of those.
This is my office needs George Buckhead tomorrow. I was hoping to get one of these for Christmas.
These are the ones I made for the workers. You got the standard logo on the back, very special logo on the front.
Thank you very much. Drum roll, please.
Now, the top 10 chants are from the home office in Washington, Redmond.
And we also have...
Thank you, bro.
No problem.
By the way, a big hand for Tom Mitchell to put this whole deal together here. Yeah, he went out of my office again.
I'm gonna be careful next time I go in the office because you never know. One more time?
Harder.
Thank you.
Special one for you.
He's the manager. We thank you. If you guys want to come in, we'll switch with you now. You out there? Say what? We'll see if it goes like the 4 guys coming in across you now. Foley's coming in and Dreamer's here. Hang out. We're coming in now to take our places. Open a window. It's too hot in here. I'm imagine sitting here sweating.
Good, Mark.
Don't laugh on it. That's what
That's right.
Okay, so in fact, I'll send you more questions. These people here, obviously Tommy Dreamer, Tod, please make sure to say Tod. Don't call him anything else, please.
Yes.
Foley Dangerously, the first to have more heavyweight champion and his manager woman. Any questions? Don't be shy, you guys were talking up the store a moment ago, yeah. For women. She's hard to hear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Yes, right here.
You mentioned you were coming to New York and you're going to play at the end.
When were we in New York? We're in New York on Friday night, July 28th at the Orange County Fair in Middletown, New York, which is, way up in the middle of bumfuck. And hopefully it's too long of a drive for those corrupt athletes at the State Athletic League to come up and bump their ball. If it's not, maybe we'll put their balls enough to where they'll see that we can probably make enough tax money off us to send us to do our thing. For the rest of share at the hair. It's partnership. So we'll be in Middletown, New York on July 28th, and hopefully with all things going right, we'll start inching our way back down towards New York City. And hey, maybe we're looking to clear Empire Sports Network, which is based out of Buffalo and Rochester and Albany. I think it goes from all the way from Eddie Water down to Albany. So we can clear that. We'll probably also start doing Albany and up through the Buffalo area as well. And Rochester and Delhi, we're looking at that. The college, again, there's nothing happening there, so they might as well come. But the first one we go back to New York is July 28th, it's a Friday night, and it's at a fair, and it's going to be Heatwave 95 in New York. Yes, in the back. Who are you directing the question to? I already talked about this already. Basically, as I told you, we as an organization are not planning to do anything with an organization per se as a give and take, although as we told you before, our wrestlers do work in Japan for different organizations. We try to make everything fit into our schedule and work around our schedule. We have no plans on who they work for per se. We are not, just right now, we're planning to align ourselves with any one group at this time. Can I ask 2 questions? Without being challenging or anything? just out of curiosity, what do you like about the idea? I'm not saying that you shouldn't like it, I like it too, but what do you like about what they do?
Well, I just wanted to ask one thing.
For the record, the Headhunters were supposed to be in here to challenge the Public Enemy on June 17th. The Headhunters were supposed to also be on the Florida swing that will go on July 20th, 21st and 22nd. And they were also supposed to be here when we originally planned the outdoor show for June 30th. The first match the Public Enemy was going to have for June 30th was going to be against the Headhunters. And that was a deal that was done on a handshake with Victor Quinone. And he decided not to do it. And, you know, it's something we were interested in doing was the Public Enemy against the Headhunters. As a matter of fact, that was something that we had scheduled when we all came in after Eddie Gilbert left. The Public Enemy's first appearance at the Arena was Ultra Class, which was when we came in September 18th, 93. And we scheduled our first TV taping for October 1st and October 2nd at the Arena. That's when Sabu debuted and everything else. And Taz came in, and Tommy came in, and the woman came in on the 18th as well. The woman came in on Ultra Class. But the Headhunters were supposed to stay on the Public Enemy on the second night in a cage. And again, Victor Quinone didn't want to do the match. So I like what they do too, and I like a lot of Terry Funk, Cactus Jack was there, the Rottens go there. So it's not that we're opposed to what they do or don't like their style, don't think that there's a mix. But again, it's something that we've now had on the table 3 times, a match which we've wanted to have, which is Public Enemy against the Headhunters, and they keep on pulling out of the match. And it's not because of money, because there was no difference in the money, there was no difference in the venue, there was no difference in, well, what do we do afterwards, how do we bill it, what titles, on something like that. Every time they agree to the match, they call back, and we found out this time that we weren't going to get the match because we were going to surprise everybody with it. We found out this time that the match not going to happen because he wanted to do a show in New Jersey. And we called up to say, hey, does this mean that you don't want to do it? You're still going to do it. Because I feel it's a great match. I didn't give a crap they're going to do it in New Jersey. That's their business, not ours. And we never got a return phone call. The last business we did with Victor Quinone, he bought a couple of groceries of our t-shirts, said thank you, and now it was the week after he got it that he got it. The check was a week late, and that was it. So, I like to do it. I like to do that match, but it keeps on falling through.
Over here, yeah.
Question for Foley. You mentioned corrupt state activism, which obviously leads to the question, how did this angle with Bill Alfonso, what is the idea for this?
One of the things that we always get blasted on is that there's not enough of what Taz does, of what Eddie Guerrero does, of what Dean Malenko does, of what Chris Benoit does. We've taken from all sorts of different aspects. We've taken from the San Martino era, we brought that to 1995. We took from the Bruiser and the Crusher and that Minneapolis, Chicago, Indianapolis type of action. We brought that to 1995. And as epitomized by Taz and Guerrero and Malenko and Benoit, we take a Japanese style plus mix in the old. You can compare it to anywhere from Billy Robinson and Vern Gagne to the Jack Briscoe and Dory Funk Jr. And we updated that style to 1995. One of the things that we constantly get nailed on is, well, you don't do enough of that. There's a lot of blood and there's a lot of this and there's a lot of, we'd like to see more wrestling. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that are qualified as Taz and as Benoit or as Malenko and Guerrero to do that.
What are you trying to say?
That you do your thing, he does his thing, and he does his thing.
I am a wrestling machine. I think they'll attest to that.
I'm not disagreeing. I agree with you. I think you're a machine when it comes to many things that involve the wrestling business. And with that, the guy that read the paycheck is walking out the door.
Tod Gordon takes his time to weasel his way out.
Oh, yeah, that's a good job. Oh. Anyway, the thing with Bill Alfonso is real simple. How do you implement rules into an organization with 65 to 75% of the audience doesn't want rules? How do you implement rules when people generally don't like rules? And one of the things that about us is that this is as close as you get to a free-for-all street fight with one guy's hand going up and one guy's hand not, as you'll ever get. I mean, you know, without killing each other, where do you stop? You know, this is far beyond the Ultimate Fight Challenge, because as soon as the guy gets in trouble there, he taps out, fight's over. Here, when you get in trouble, fight just begins. So Alfonso comes in, and he says, we're going to have rules. We're going to have regulations. If a guy throws a punch, that is illegal, and 3 times he throws a punch, I'm going to qualify. You pull a hair, you're out the door. So now people start to realize, hey, there is a balance. Hey, when a guy does throw a punch, it does mean something. When we see a guy get smacked in the head with a chair with his hands behind his back, that should mean something. It does mean something. Holy shit, these guys have a lot of balls to do what they do. And in the meantime, it also accentuates the fact that there is a need for scientific wrestling, that there is a need for the suplexes and for the hold, counter hold, and the mat work. And what it does is it puts a whole bunch of different things into perspective. Who's running? Why don't you run? I'll conduct. You conduct. Right there? Thank God somebody is. And you're a survivor.
MSG Network, you're on a rotating time slot.
Yeah.
When my friends and I go out, not just to, cigar in the evening and crap or whatever, but if we're out and we're in ECW hats, people are stopping. Oh, stuff with the board, stuff with the chair. Why didn't we done it?
By the way, and that's just an example of what we were just saying about him.
People are thinking because of the rotating time slot that you're on, you walk, they're passing reruns. Are you guys going to get a regular time slot in New York? If so, when? Because what you do is you're going to risk this is Monday Night Raw race. It's good.
Go.
Well, first of all, with MSG, with
By the way, just so you know, I want you to run with this, I know it's first. It is the biggest source of aggravation to the crew right now that we have. Isn't that a sincere goes? But from an official standpoint, because our media director, Steve Carroll's out here, then I'd like you to experience the frustration that Tommy will tell you. Just on behalf of Steve Carroll, who would be very anal here today, and be more than happy to explain to you in far too gross delineation as to why. The bottom line is you can't get a normal time slot on MSG because they're a sports-oriented network, and by the time they can't tell me Monday night to 10, because the Yankees go 10 innings, then you can't be on at 10 o'clock, be on at 10:15, and of course we can't put it into a contract. So, well, then give me 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. So somebody says, oh yeah, but the Knicks play 3 Tuesdays in October, so we can't do that. And by the time they finish BSing you around and jerking your chain, you can't get a normal time slot. And MSG knows that I hate their fucking stuff.
I think I handled that nicely, didn't I? No, but what he was saying with like the Rangers the whole time with the playoffs and then the Knicks, and they have that stupid thing called Ranger or Nick Rewind or Yankee Rewind, where you watch a boring sport. And wrestling, you kind of just push us aside, and we have a great response from the MSG Network, but it's real hard, and plus, the crowd that we're giving, the people tend to shy away. I mean, and it also has to do with money, but I personally, I know somebody who has a lot of influence with MSG, and I'm trying to just get us on. Just one, even if it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody would set their VCRs and they would watch our product, instead of, because it's the best thing out there on TV. So, it's the people, and basically, even you bring it to the people. If you don't like it that it's on, write a letter to people at MSG.
By the way, just to let you know, MSG really responds to phone calls and harassment. They do. Oh, no, this is a true story.
Get all your friends that are pissed off and write them a letter.
Also, don't forget something. We're brand new on their station. I mean, their quote to me was, how do we know you're not the next Eddie Mansfield? How do we know you're not going to come on here, run up a pile of bills, and then fold the company? Which legitimate concern with a lot of wrestling companies. Sunshine Network, we got jerked around Sunshine Network for 2 months, and then when they realized that we were here to stay and that they were getting good ratings and response, they started to work with us, and now we're on twice a week on Sunshine. With MSG, believe me, they canceled us once. True story, they canceled us once because I refused to bleep the word ass. They, well, we had it 9 times in one show. But it's a little minor, but no, I did say it. We did something like, I'm gonna kick your friggin' ass. And they questioned me on the word friggin', and I went down the line. I showed them 9 TV shows that say friggin'. You know, it's even acceptable on Nickelodeon. I heard the word friggin'. It's a kids network. And then they busted my balls on the word ass to the point where they said, "That's it. You're not going to believe it. We're going to cancel. You're not going to scream cancel." And they did.
So Paul comes down and says, "Welcome to Phil fucking Delphia."
Well, we didn't air it. I mean, but anyway, they took us off for 2 weeks. And they got so much criticism and got lambasted so bad by people who wanted to see the show that just to get the fans off their ass, they called us up and said, well, and we were on a cash party because we had to get more than the money to go on. They said, we'll air you for free for the next 2 weeks and just give us a fucking show because we can't stand it from the fans. If you guys want to harass MSG, go, right? Guy's name is Corey Arnold. Call him, bother him, number is right, go to his home, call his mom, his dog, I don't care. You'll help. I mean, seriously, if you want to see it, if you want to make it more accessible to you, you bother them, you bother any television network, they'll kiss your ass.
Is there anybody we can call in Boston to help get you on?
Dad?
For me?
You're right, he can wrestle. I'm sure we'll curse him say, put us on the air, I'll kill you. Tell him about that. He doesn't want to do it.
There's a lot of, I mean, Foley, he cut me off. Let me cut you off. Foley's in the studio a lot. You know, his job is, I wouldn't want the job. He's running around. He'll get 50 phone calls in a half hour. And he doesn't, like, we don't have, like WWF, we don't have agents yet. We don't have guys to go out and find the building for us. And we don't have guys to go out and get, you know, TV spots. Or, to me, I seriously, there's so many people who like our product and they believe in our product. If, let's say, you live in Boston and you knew somebody, you show them the tape, people will be like, holy shit, and I think go there, but you also meet somebody, I don't want to offend any women in here, except that one, is, who's got a set of balls and will put it on the air. You know, like Howard Stern, when Howard Stern...
How many balls?
I don't know.
I thought he learned his lesson last night.
Anyway, when Howard Stern was on the air, Howard Stern, I mean, that was a one hell of a product, and everybody watched it, but he just pushed it to the limit, you know, and he got himself off the air. Even NYPD Blues, I mean, they say dick on television, that's Channel 7, but they got somebody a guy who had a set of balls and put it on the air just because it was a good show, and people watched it, you know, and if he doesn't have that time, we don't have all those guys. That's why I myself, I know somebody who has a little influence in MSG, and I'm trying to talk to him, you know. Other guys are trying, let's say, you know somebody who owns, I don't know, a gasoline station.
Nothing's the one that gasoline station.
Women's Sports Center.
Yeah, Nesson, and if you know somebody, you know, tell them to give it, you know, show them the product, and then somebody will shit.
You don't know somebody. Is there somebody that's like you can harass, like you were saying?
Nothing.
Yeah, you
call up, ask for the program director or the station manager, and bug them. Incessantly. Fax them, write them, call his mom, eat his dog, you know. And really, I mean, they get bothered enough just to get you off the... The last thing a television person wants, that I have figured out, the last thing anybody in TV wants is to be bothered. They feel they're too high and mighty, they feel they're too important, and they're too busy sitting there and worrying about nothing. You know, what were the ratings? 2.9. What was it last week? 2.85. Oh my God, we're ahead. I got it, yes, it was all my idea, and I didn't get all the credit. And then it's like Miles Silverberg. And then if it goes from 2.9 to 2.8, they go, there's that guy right over there. I was gone, I was in a meeting, and nothing to do with me. And so when you start calling them and bothering them, that's exactly how they look at it. Your fans are bothering us. Well, then kiss our asses. What about that?
we're trying to get on that. You know, I mean, Steve Carroll, this is about maybe 2 months ago, I think he's still trying, right?
Still trying.
But like the product, a lot of you know, we send demos all over the country, and a lot of states, a lot of networks aren't going to put us on because it's so extreme. You know, it's bloody, it's violent. You know, sometimes you see, you know, kids and ass, I mean, cursing and whatnot. It's violence, and people don't want their kids to see it, I guess, and they get turned off. They want to watch, you know, WWE.
We've given them the excuse not to put us on. I mean, make no mistake about it. We have given them the excuse. You know, I mean, if you don't want a show with salty language, we're off. You don't want a show with, you know, with women getting, you know, getting bounced around, we're off. If you don't want a show with true to life violence, we're off. You don't want a show with more reality. We got turned down from Prime Ticket in LA because they didn't like rap music. They said the rap, they called it in LA. And the guy that turned us down wouldn't even refer to it as hip hop or rap. He called it urban contemporary music. We don't want urban contemporary music on Prime Ticket. I said, you have an audience out there that is 72% minority. It's 72% black and Hispanic. And you don't want hip hop music on your show. And they were grossly offended by the fact that we have so much rap music on our show. We gave them the excuse. They didn't want us on. LA. I thought I was Los Angeles, of all places.
No, what not wrong. But I know one saw that half of.
It wasn't Hernando DiMaggio. It wasn't Ice-T. Which one was it? That's when it was played. No, it wasn't. No, way before that. It was on the demo. It wasn't even an offensive one. It wasn't Here Come the Hot Stars. That's not rap. It wasn't called. I don't really remember what it was. You know what it was? I do remember what it was. It was KRS-One. KRS-One. We had the right to use the music in a bumper, and I used it on the national version in a bumper, and they wanted to know if this is indicative of the type of music that we're going to be playing on the show. They didn't care about White Zombie. They didn't care about Metallica. What they were afraid of was the heavy reliance on urban contemporary music. In Los Angeles. In Los fucking Angeles. I mean, come on. You know, but we give them, you know, but that, to me, that was just a convenient excuse. They didn't want us on the air. We're far off the charts from what Prime Ticket's looking for. Now, in the meantime, since then, they've had a younger guy come in who's 34 years old, who's probably more anal than the older guy, but he happens to find his cutting edge on video.
There's 2 shows on Fox. One was called Rock, and the other one was called Party of 5. Rock was about to go up the air. They had a big petition. They gave him another 4 weeks to try to bump up the ratings, but the petition was the one that got him back to us after 4 weeks. The show didn't get over quite popular, so another network picked him up, and people still watch him. The show Party of 5, they took it off the air, and people went nuts, you know, and now they brought the show back on the air just because the people, I mean, it's America, the people still have a say no matter what the corporate tight asses want to, you know, dictate that we have to watch on television. And I guarantee if we were on, we hit national level, every person who told us no would be kissing our feet trying to get us on. And that's when you kick them in the face for it. You know, it's the truth. You had your chance.
It's a difficult product to clear. It really is. I mean, it's certainly not something that they're just going to say, oh yeah, sure, we'd love to have you in cash barter or barter or whatever. It takes a lot of effort to clear the show. But again, you know, we've only been expanding the show now for 9 months. So I mean, we cleared Prime Sports Network, we cleared Sunshine, we cleared MSG, we cleared a whole bunch of different stations in New Orleans and Charlotte and Cincinnati, and we just went on in Hampton, Virginia this weekend. So I mean, it's a slow task, man. It takes a long time. We've only been doing this for 9 months. You know, everybody keeps on getting this impression we've been around for a long, long time. We haven't. Not even 2 years since we all came in. Not even 2 years yet. September 18th is 2 years. It seems like a long time to us sometimes, believe me. But it's not. It's been a pretty relatively short time.
How much do you have it on?
I've spoken to him a couple of times. I mean, see, the thing is that a lot of people didn't remember was that Benoit and I were really good. I have a lot of respect for it. Not only for what he does. I mean, what he does, I don't even need to describe. I mean, you know what he's capable of. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him because he had a real good degree of intelligence regarding the marketing of the business. He was a friend and a real close friend, and it was an unfortunate situation. But these are not negotiations for him to come back, and they're not negotiations to bring him back. And it's not even really something on the table because to do something like what he did, and he'll admit that he was wrong in doing it, and set an example by saying, okay, he did it, but bygones are bygones. I have now set a precedent that the next person that does it in the dressing room is going to feel very comfortable doing it. And you're going to start paying your money to fly in from all around the country to fly in and see a main event. I'll give you an example. You paid to come here tonight. One of the matches you paid to see was the Sandman against Cactus Jack in Singapore Chambers of Fifth Rep in barbed wire. What if you got here tonight and all of a sudden you realize, well, the Sandman had an opportunity to pick up a big payday by wrestling Jason the Terrible over in Tokyo, and you're here. Well, you'd be pissed off, and rightfully so. You can pay to see the match. Or vice versa, what if Cactus Jack said, well, Victor Cleone cost me more money to wrestle Goto in Tokyo, so I'm going to wrestle the Budokan Hall instead of at the ECW Arena, even though I gave the commitment. If you allow this to happen, and you say bygones are bygones, and the next thing you know, you people will not be flying in to see the ECW. You people will not be flying in because we deliver what we advertise. You won't be flying in because you'll never know what you're going to see, because we're going to be right back in the NWA in 1986, where these are the top 3 matches advertised, and you get 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky. When we advertise a match, we have to fulfill on the advertised match, on our obligation to you, because why did so many people fly in? It's an honor of stipulation, because there are winners and losers, because all of our guys bust their ass to give you a good show, and women bust their ass to give you a good show, and because we deliver what we advertise. We say there's going to be a winner and a loser, there's going to be a winner and a loser. We say this is going to be a bloody match, it's going to be a bloody match. If we say this guy is going to appear, he freaking better appear, or he's going to have to answer, not just to me, but to everybody that flew in to see him. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'd love to tell you right now, yes, I'm bringing him back. Yes, you're going to see what he does at the next show. But then again, I can't tell you that. Because if I do, then I'm opening the doors up for everybody in that dressing room to screw not only this organization over, but people that fly in to see him. And then the next thing you know, nobody's going to fly in to see him. And then you start to lose your local base. I'd love to tell you I'm bringing him back. I can't tell you. I can't. And I really wish that you'd understand how frustrating it is for everybody involved, because there are a lot of people that would like to see him back. But if they understood what precedent it would set and how dangerous of a precedent that is, I think you'd understand that it's a no-win situation for us. To bring him back would be catastrophic to the justice, and therefore catastrophic to our fans, to the people that support us, and people that pay to see us. I mean, these guys are that way. You know, I mean, it's frustrating, but it's not something that we did to him. It's not. He did it to us. You know, and he understands that. Just, you know, he does understand that. He doesn't appreciate how we handle it to that extent, but.
Just read the sheet.
You know,
I mean, Foley told him ahead of time. If he no-shows, he was going to expose it to the people. He was going to tell the people the truth, for one. You know, not his flight was delayed or his fucking cat died or some stupid crap. No, he was going to tell the people the truth, and so we did. And Sad Root, you know, he called me the next day when I got home, and he said, what the hell happened? I said, hey, you knew ahead of time what was going to happen. Because, yeah, but I didn't think Paul would do it. But I said Paul told you he was going to do it, and I told you he was going to do it, and he did it.
Oh, I told him. See, his major thing was he didn't want to fight. He said, if you tell me that they said you're going to fire me, you know, I don't know. I said, well, it's going to weigh on your decision. I said, here's your deal.
You gave me an obligation. You gave an obligation to everybody. We have to see what you're schedule. You're there or you're not there. Are you going to be there? He said, yes, I'll be there. I said, okay.
They offered me the same date. We were supposed to be there together to go to Tokyo. I told the Japs right away. I said, I have a commitment already. I'm in a main event match for my bread and butter. And I'm sorry. And that burned a bridge with me and New Japan or Ishingo, whatever. I mean,
he hasn't been back since. Keep that in mind. And they were paying him the same money they're paying him very big money. But he had an obligation.
I lost money on the deal. And business is business, but business is business as far as my word to this territory here. And I'm not knocking the guy. I feel the same way as Paul does about him. He's a tremendous talent. I respect his work. I'm a fan of his work. And I love tagging with him, and most of all, I love wrestling him. And I want Paul to bring him back. I want to wrestle him. I'll wrestle him every night for free. My hand to God, for free.
He ain't wrestling you for free.
That's true.
My head. Broke my head.
911 gimmick and stuff over the way down.
All inclusive or since the Ron Simmons debacle? Nothing. 911 is our master. He's our master. I mean, think about it. He is. We don't have him in title matches. We don't have him pursuing any particular goals. It's not an ambitious persona. He's a mascot. I mean, what better way to exemplify what we do than to beat the living fucking shit out of Doink or Jungle Jim Steel or anything that truly offends our audience by their mere existence. And that's 911. I mean, hey, you don't like Pee Wee the referee? 911. You don't like Doink the Clown? 911. It's a very simple method. We bring what you hate out in front of the firing squad, and instead of getting these big rifles, we bring out 911. And I'll be honest with you, I've noticed, personal point, and by the way, one of the other reasons why he's gotten over this, because when he picks you up and slams you down, he picks you up and slams your ass down. I mean, trust me. I mean, this guy, when we first came up with this, my thought was, if we get this guy to a certain extent, sooner or later, one day, I'm going to turn around and walk into a choke. I just figured, that was the normal run of a persona, and I saw him throw down, he used to throw down Mikey Whipwreck. And Paul Warrior, and Chad. He threw these guys down, man, so hard. And everybody just sat there, and I see Vader do a choke slam, it sucks. I saw Diesel do a choke slam, it sucks. I saw Sid do a choke slam, it sucks. I've seen both WWE and WCW. I must have seen, seriously, in the past 3 weeks of television, I must have seen 20, 30 choke slams. Nobody does choke slams now. And not one of them doing it like him. Because when he picks you up and throws you down, this is like when Nikita Koloff used to have the guys up in the back break and go, okay, done, bam! He just dropped him on their fucking head. And I was in Florida with Ted and Nancy, the very first place I ever worked was Florida, February 87. And Jimmy Crockett took over, and he came in, and everybody used to run to the monitor when Nikita was in the ring, not to see the backbreaker, but to see what he did after the backbreaker, because he was just something just boom! He was something on the head like he throws people down in the head. Just like, bam! I mean, it was ugly. It was like, ooh! And that's what he does. I mean, he takes a Doink or a Jungle Jim Steel or a Pee Wee the referee, or, and he says, okay, screw you. You're 911. Or Tod Gordon. I mean, everybody takes it. And it's, no, he's I think he gets over because we don't try to convince you that he's the greatest wrestler in the world because he's not. We don't try to convince you that, this guy's going for the world title because he's not, for the TV title because he's not. It's only indicative of our attitude of how we perceive the other organizations or these other scenarios that they present to you. Like, we had a sucking match once in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, as a tag team match. And it sucked. I mean, I missed Leaf Rob, one arm, the whole thing. We sent it out, boom, and they loved it. Why? Because it was a sucking match and they wanted it gone. We should have done it with Shane and Hope. Yeah, applaud me now, but boo me then, right? Believe me, we booed ourselves all the way home that night. Oh God, it's over. Oh God, it's over. And oh God, was it over. So we should have done them then.
My name is Greg, I'm from Alabama. I'm wondering about your role in the company, how it's changed over the last 2 years, and how that's changed the company.
I don't know how my role in the company has changed.
And how that's changed the company in turn.
My role in the company has changed only to the extent that people let me change it. My viewpoint is far radical from anything that people in this business do. And that's not because I'm that progressive or anything. I'm a 29-year-old kid who actually really thought he was going to have to go to therapy when Johnny Carson quit. Because I grew up on I'm a TV ad. That's all I do. And what I've always done in my life, since I was 15, it's a true statement. I have a big screen TV in my room, and I have 4 monitors around it. I watch 5 different stations at once, and I record. I have a VCR attached to every TV, and I just record everything all day long. And then I watch it back at night. I'm a goof when it comes to television. I'm a TV junkie. I'm a psychopathic when it comes to that. I'm absolutely out of my mind with TV. That's how I grew up. I'm part of the TV generation. So the people that preceded me were wrestling people or TV people. There was never a TV wrestling guy to see me. It was always, Vern. Vern was just a wrestling guy. He was many things, but he was a wrestling guy. Or Jim Hurd was a TV guy. Didn't know wrestling, but knew TV. Vern Gagne knew wrestling, didn't know TV. And then Vince surrounds himself very intelligently with a lot of TV people or a lot of wrestling people. But he keeps on forgetting to get a guy that grew up watching wrestling on TV. That's what I did. I grew up watching Johnny Carson, and I grew up watching wrestling. I grew up watching, and that was it. I watched Carson and wrestling. I didn't give a shit about anything else. That's all I cared about. And then there was my parents didn't know. But outer limits, no. It's on too early. In the morning. I'm not up that early. But it's my role in the company is that I feel, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. And sometimes it's true, and other times it's not as true as I wish it would be. That the boys, the wrestlers, have taken over the office. In the same way that the nuts have taken over the entire. In that we have a bunch of very hungry guys. Either people that have been to the major organizations, including myself, and didn't like what they saw, and didn't like how it was run, and didn't like how the talent was treated, or people that have never gone to the WWF or WCW, or have just gone in there and it didn't work out, after 1 or 2 nights. And they say, you know what, screw them. They're way off base with their little clique. And the only clique that should be is a clique of hard-working people that want to take this as a team and progress it into something that people will pay to see. My philosophy, my input, my attitude, what I do in this company is very simple. We take a bunch of hungry guys, all have the best interest of the product at heart. I listen to them, I listen to the people, and then you try to get the two together and you see where that goes. At any given day, what you see can be a product of 30 different people's ideas, and just mesh into one. Tad will come up to me and say, I got a great idea for Hack Myers. Or Tommy comes up and he says, I got a great idea for this day. Or Sandman comes up. Or Nancy comes up. And everybody sits there. And the one thing I really, truly regret is that I can't get all of you into, and don't say, yes, you can, you have the power. Because believe me, you'll have more fun out there. But if you could ever watch, or you could ever taste how that dressing room is once that bell rings, all the guys surround the monitor, and they all watch the monitor, and they live every match. When Hack Myers starts throwing those punches, and the people go shop, boys in the dressing room doing the same thing. Boring. You put your ass in here, young man, and I'll kick your ass. Step inside and identify yourself.
Now, we don't go that far in the dressing room. But it's just a thing where, I mean, I stepped in September 18th, and he was with me when I did the same thing at the Foley, but there wasn't cooperation, and I just got frustrated and got out. I mean, you know, it's real frustrating. Real frustrating. You know, and that's when you just start throwing your BS temper tantrum and you just say, fuck it. The thing is here, we have cooperation from everybody from when Tod was running day-to-day operations, all inclusive on everything, to where now he wants to concentrate on more focused things. It was the fact that whatever I had to do with it had to do with the fact that I had cooperation from the dressing room and from all the parties involved. Because if you don't have that, if it's not team oriented, it falls apart real fast. And I've seen that happen. I mean, and Nancy Christian knows what I'm talking about. You know, in WCW, it's just, you know, they would sit there and start to make this decision, and everybody would go, great idea, great idea, great idea. And as soon as you leave the room, that's bad. She doesn't know what the fuck is talking about.
You can't go to the bathroom.
Can't go to the bathroom. Can't go to the bathroom there. Just real quick, true story. True story. You guys can repeat it to him because I think he's an asshole. When I got fired by Ric Flair, who was also an asshole, I went to, I had a meeting the very next day with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. And they wouldn't let me out of my contract in Atlanta. So Vince suggested that I hang around the studio while my contract is still being fought over to learn about how production's done, how they do it. So I'm watching Bruce, because Bruce at the time was head of production. He was the producer. And I like Bruce. He was a good friend of mine. And I have nothing against him. This is how the wrestling business operates. And it shows you why other things fall apart because of the lack of cooperation. There had a guy named Kerwin Stipples, and he was a producer. And they had spent all day trying to get a certain camera shot for a press conference that they wanted to shoot. And Kerwin comes in, and Bruce comes in, and I just followed Bruce around with my lunch, because that's what I had to do for a couple months while I had to set up my contract. And Kerwin looks at the camera, and a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, he's looking at that camera, and I got it! I got the shot! Oh, man, I got the shot! Bruce, come here! I got the shot! And here comes Bruce, and he waddles. This is when his brother Love, and he waddled over, man, doing his Roddy Piper imitation. He walked over, he looked in the camera, and he goes, holy fuck, Kerwin, that is the best fucking angle you could ever get in your life. Fuck. As he says this, Vince looks at me. Goes, Vince, I want you to fucking see this, man. Take a look at this shot. And Vince goes over and Bruce, I think that's tough. And with that, he was going to be, Bruce goes, shit, I told him it's fucking tough. Nobody gives me the authority to turn that down, man. And they fired Kerwin now. They brought him back, but they fired him. Because Bruce said, I told him stuff. He wouldn't fucking listen. He wanted to hear from you, man. That's the epitome of what I don't want here. If it sucks, tell me it sucks. Well, things work here because when it doesn't work, man, I have a whole dressing room full of guys that love to tell me how wrong I am. And that's good. Because if you surround yourself with yes men, you get nowhere. That's why the NWA fell in 1988. Because nobody would tell Dusty. Now people hopefully will learn to tell people you're wrong. It happens here all the time. You can't believe how much people say. Ron's the phone over there, just like there with the camera. He tells me I'm wrong all the time. Don't you, Ron? All the time. Am I right? Am I right, Ron? No. Man, you pick.
No, I was just picking my opportunity to get the hell out of here.
Here we go.
I'll be there. It's going to be a hell of a night.
See you guys.
Personal message from a Sandman to Cactus Jack. Fuck you, Cactus. Ron Sandman in one. Yeah, let's put this one on.
Yeah, I don't think we can have that.
For Nesson and the MSG Network.
How was the big two reaction to
your on-air or in-show criticism, specifically WCW, and do you fear a talent raid?
Sure. Do I fear a talent raid? Absolutely not. You know, how have they reacted? Shane Douglas leaving. How have they reacted? Trying to get Benoit. How have they reacted? Calling Tommy Dreamer. How have they reacted? Two times a month phone calls to Taz. Are you happy? How's the money? Are you getting more bookings? Are they giving you enough opponents?
I want to go.
Oh, hey, come on in. Put me in. They've reacted real strong.
To what, Maple winning the King of the Ring?
Yeah.
They reacted strongly too.
Yeah, well, you see, now that's another thing. And the funniest thing is, now the ante's up. You know? My attitude is this. How have they reacted? I feel they reacted as strongly as they can. I feel if they could put us out of business in a day, they would do it. If they could, believe me, they want us gone. How have they How have they reacted to the on-air criticism?
Like a bunch of crybabies.
Yeah. If I were them, I'd react to the on-air criticism by changing my product to make it better. I mean, put it this way, we haven't done a lot of on-air like we did the Public Enemy and the thing with the Lou and dressing them up in drag and the cotton candy fight. The funniest thing is, I didn't hear anybody in WCW call up and go how offensive it was, how insulting it was, how off base it was. No, they said, hey, that's what we are. Woo! You know? Do I feel a talent raid? I don't feel a talent raid for one reason. When Lex Luger was in WCW, Jim Herd used to come into the studio that Jim Ross and I used to voice over him all the time. I mean, this is every Monday. That goddamn Luger, that cocksucker, I can't stand him. That fucking bastard, he was in the dressing room and he was dissing in Minneapolis. I don't know why do we put up with him? Why don't we throw him out? Why do this? Why do that? Why do we pay him $10,000 a week? Exactly why. If he's miserable, let him go. There's no contract there for one reason. If you want to stay, you stay. If you want to stay, then be here. Then be here and work your ass off and give the people their money's worth and do what needs to get done. And don't worry about who's up or who's down. And just go out there and do your thing. If you don't want to be here, go. So, if you're going to be miserable here, then be miserable for Vince. And if you're happy for Vince, then God bless you. I hope Shane Douglas makes $1 billion at WrestleMania. I really do. I really do. I hope this guy sets their fire rate through the roof. I hope he's happy. But if he's not, then he's not going to be miserable here, then he's miserable there. If you're miserable in my dressing room, you're going to ruin my dressing room. You're going to upset my dressing room. You're going to take away from what we do. And the thing about us is that we have that cooperation with everybody to such an extent that we're a team. Once you lose that, once somebody's upsetting the apple cart, once somebody takes away from that overall enthusiasm in the dressing room to the same extent that you got the enthusiasm in the crowd with everybody chanting from when Bob Ortiz throws out the hats to throw them back to Shaw for Hacksmeyers and Psycho Cop and to everybody. And by the way, he is a psycho fucking cop, ain't he? God damn. But I mean, you know, to everything, all the chants that are done, all the fun that's had, it's the same way in the dressing room. I mean, what you see out there is what you get in the bag. And once you lose that, I mean, would you guys really want to come here if it wasn't that type of atmosphere? I mean, some of you might, but I mean, most of you would be like, one of the reasons that you're here is because you want to be part of that ECW Arena atmosphere. You don't want to just see the wrestling that we have to offer tonight, but it's the experience. It's the experience of being in that arena. It's that arena itself. It's the energy that's there. It's the fun that's had. It's the fact that people at 6 o'clock at night in the rain will stand out there, and when Ron and Charlie come with the cameras, you'll sit there and go, it's raining, I'm miserable, open up the fucking doors, and see the camera and go, ECW! It's a thing, man. It's an experience. They're living something, and once they don't live it, we don't want them. Fuck them. Let them go. If he's not happy, if they're not happy, go. So I don't fear talent raids because I have enough confidence in who we have that they'll stay. They don't want to be, they don't have to stay. I don't want to hold anybody here that don't want to be here. I certainly wouldn't want to work in a place where I was forced to work. I've been through that. No, thank you. If they want to stay here, they're more than welcome to stay. If they want to go, God bless them. Go make your money elsewhere. See if you can duplicate what we do. There's more talent out there that wants jobs, too. There's always Johnny Smith, there's always Chris Jericho. There's always somebody out there that has not to be. I mean, you know, when we started this, everybody said to me, well, you know, you're going to have your hands full with Jay Sully. Who's Jay Sully? I have Joey Styles. And they said, who's Joey Styles? I never heard of Joey Styles. Where has he been? Nowhere. That's the point. There's always somebody waiting in the wings who's dying for that job opportunity. And once you give somebody that job opportunity who's waited for it, watch how hard they fight to keep that job. Look at Steve Richards. Look at Steve Richards. This guy used to come to our arena with his bags in his hand for 6 months before we ever gave him his first match. His first match was a double choke slam. Him and Dino Sendoff was 9-1-1. In one of these shows we did like in Harrisburg or something. Way out in the middle of nowhere. And that's what he did for a couple months. And then he had a TV match with Mikey in Montgomery. But Steve Richards hung in. Steve Richards was hungry. And when the opportunity was there, when Jason was out, and we needed someone with a pit bull, and Steve Richards was like, that's me. And Steve Richards stepped up to the plate, man, he was a home run. But because everybody says, oh man, Jason's been with us since the beginning, where we really like, well, I still like Jason. But Jason, it was Jason's time. And when Jason was out and Steve Richards stepped up to the plate, bang. I mean, he's had the same opportunity. I mean, the biggest break in his career happened because somebody else wasn't there. Like we were discussing.
Oh, yeah. That's true. First point, Foley told me I did have to stay. Secondly, the secret behind Richards isn't just his drive and ambition, the short. Wait, who asked that question about the two other companies, whoever? Well, me as a wrestler watching it, WCW tried to incorporate that uncensored pay-per-view, try to copy us. All right. And even if you look at one of the last pay-per-views, Sting worked with a big boss man, he came out with a table, the worst. And they tried to do it, and they didn't do it. WWF, if you look at it, as a wrestler, I never noticed it until I was doing it. Nobody ever did a TV interview with a camera moving. It was always stationary, the guy would talk. Genius, little brownie point. He over there, you see the camera moving. Now if you watch WWF TV, the camera's always moving. WWF always had a blue wall screen with like Owen Hart, you know, the Hitman. He would do a promo standing against the wall because it's real. Now you look at WWF, they have like our banner now with Bam Bam's Flames. WWF's trying to emulate. WWF's doing more videos. And their show actually improved, but they're copying us because plus they have more money to spend on. But when it comes down to the pay-per-view, it was a crock of shit. You know, it was the worst. And even now, if you look, WWF's having people with signs. When did they ever acknowledge a person holding up a sign? If they're planters or if they're not. But, I mean, anything that we have in our audience is legitimate. If people say, you know, nah, goodbye, it's goodbye. You can't get that audience response like you people give it. And that's why our product is the best.
By the way, the other half of our crack production team, I don't mean crack like crack that.
If you want it, you can buy it.
We're not talking about the guy that takes Tony Atlas. We're talking about Charlie Brazil, who actually follows our very twisted 3 o'clock in the morning, hey, let's come into the guy like this, instead of just keeping that tripod on. And that's Charlie over there with the camera on his shoulder.
Hi, guys. Now, one other thing, if you look at Fox Network when they did the hockey, they'll do interviews like that. ESPN, everything's gone extreme now, extreme beer, everything. But who started it? And it sucks that we don't have the national exposure, but you people know that we were the ones who started it all, and that's how the word spreads. It's like, you know, those Jerky Boy tapes that came out a long time ago, everybody had them, but they were never national. And now, boom, they had movies,
And now the four of us sit up at night and make phony phone calls.
Give you my girlfriend brother.
Paul, how do you decide who needs to work for you? I mean, you gotta have people from all over the world calling you up. From all over the promotion, you gotta have them calling you. I mean, Steve Richards has been here since Tri-State days, Cactus, Tri-State days.
It all depends on who fits into the mix, you know. Again, it takes back to the question of Alfonso. You can't have all brawlers. You can't have all wrestlers. You can't have all, you know, if we had 5 teams like the Public Enemy, then, you know, I still think the Public Enemy would stand out as the best, but it would be 5 teams doing the same things, you know. You want to have your mixture. You want to go from what Cactus Jack does and what the Sandman does to what Raven and Tommy Dreamer does, to what Taz and Benoit and Malenko and Guerrero, do, wow, what a word, what Taz and Malenko and Guerrero and Benoit do, and you want to have people like Mikey on the show. I mean, it's all a mix. We have something for everybody here, and it's so that nobody can point to us. And it's not that I'm defining the criticism. It's that nobody can point to us and say there's nothing there that appeals to me. Really? Mikey the Underdog doesn't appeal to you. As the wrestler doesn't appeal to you. Benoit and Michael wrestling Japanese doesn't appeal to you. What Cactus Jack does doesn't appeal to you. What Tommy and Raven doesn't appeal to you. What Steve Richards does doesn't appeal to you. You know, I mean, when we go, what 911 doesn't appeal to you. I mean, there are usually on our shows 9 matches. At least there are in ECW Arena. We usually have 9 matches. And usually there's not, you know, what the Rottens do. I mean, certainly what the Rottens does is far different from what anybody else does. You know, that, you know, and what would they ever willing to do? You know, I maybe there's a ton of credit for it. It's just that it all depends on who fits into the mix. You know, I would love to bring in more people for Taz or for Chris or for Dean or for Eddie, but there's only so many pure technical wrestling matches I can have on the show, or what Scorpio does. You know, and there's how many different variations of Raven and Dreamer can you have, or what Cactus does. You know, what you don't want to do is pinpoint yourself into a situation like what Onita's group did. The problem with Onita's group, besides the fact that it was totally built around one guy, it was from the first match to the last, it was all bloodshed. It's all bloodshed and violence. We don't really do that. This is not all about bloodshed and violence. We had 30 minutes of Malenko and Guerrero on TV. Twice, you know? I mean, but then again, we also had, you know, 15 minutes of the Cactus Jack Sandman barbed wire match. So it's not just one of the other. There are all different styles. Some are a little bit of this, some a little bit of that. A guy gets a job here, first of all, because he needs to fit into the mix, and secondly, because he has to be willing to work his ass off beyond anybody else's expectations. If they come here and don't want to better themselves, if they just think they're going to come in here and get a payday based on their name, we're not interested. They have to fit into the crew, they have to fit into what that dressing room is about, and they have to be willing to, by their performance in the ring, up the ante. So if they're on second and he's on third, they got to make him sit there and go, oh shit, I better have a better match than I was planning because I can't follow that. And by the time we get up to the main event, or by the time we get up to, you know, to our big grudge matches, these guys have to be on their toes because the guys in the earlier matches have to up that ante during every match. So it's a work ethic, it's whether you fit in, and sometimes it's just a crapshoot. You know, sometimes we just see something and we go, wow, that could really work.
Also, a lot of guys, a lot of pro wrestlers that are like the name guys, these major WWF stars, the WCW stars that leave the big companies, don't want to wrestle here. A lot of guys, like you said, yes, you get tons of calls and videotapes and promo pictures of guys that want to wrestle here, but it's usually younger, hungrier guys that are willing to take the chance and get in the ring and do the shit we do, because a lot of these other guys, you know, all right, Tito Santana, for argument's sake, you know, I'm not knocking the guy. He's wrestling 15, 20 years. You think for 1 minute he's going to get in the ring with the Sandman and have that cane shoved up his ass? No way. Okay, no way. I mean, a lot of those guys don't want to come here. And then they'll knock us. They'll knock the wrestlers, they'll knock the company, they'll knock what we do, they'll knock our TV show because, you know, excuse my French, they're pussies. That's it. Correct. Correct. I wrestled for a lot of different companies, so is Jack, so is Tommy, and I mean, I think they'll agree with me. I mean, this is the most unique crew, the most unique shows
we had a battle royal in Wildwood, New Jersey. Wildwood, New Jersey, nobody there. There was nobody in the crowd. I mean, it was Sunday afternoon. We outnumbered the people. You were there? Yeah. There was like nobody there. We outnumbered the people. He was there. There was nobody there. But we outnumbered the people, and if we could have gotten Rebel to go into the stands, we would have fought the people. Yeah, we figured with him on our side, you guys did more than I'd kick out of that. So, you know what you talk. So, I mean, man, what was I saying? I don't know. Wildwood. So, we had this battle royal, you know, and a lot of times in battle royals, guys get lazy, you know. Man, it's a battle royal that never ends. You know, you see it was a hell of a battle royal. It was not a Royal Rumble style bullshit. It was a battle royal.
35 minutes.
35 minutes. 35-minute battle royal. Drop and stop and, you know, in front of 100 people. I mean, it was a battle royal. That's when my eyes opened up. I said, man, everybody's really busting their butt here. And that's what makes us different. And that's why these other guys are knocking us, or other wrestlers and other companies, because they don't want to work hard. They might have worked hard years ago and made all their thousands and thousands of dollars. But now they want to sit back, chill out, and not work hard. Well, I want to work hard. You get in the ring with me, I'm going to drop you on your fucking head. Period.
I don't know if you know it, but the last ECW show, Tod had his first interview, and for those of you who weren't there, I have written down exactly what he said. Fuck. Yes, fuck. Paul, come and help me.
That's true. It was bad. He's a fighter, not a thought. That's right. Pick someone. Glad you picked someone. You picked someone.
This is for Foley. Jim Cornette at Stanley last year was mentioned that the extreme, there's a lot of areas in the country, South, places like that, where someone asks a question like this, he says the style, like the extreme style, simply won't play. How do you respond to that?
There are probably parts of the country where the style will not play. And there are probably a lot of places that it will play. And there's probably a lot of people that, there's probably parts of the country where Die Hard plays great. There's probably other parts of the country where anything more violent than Pocahontas is going to die. If I were Jimmy, though, I would be more concerned with running my own business than what anybody else is doing right now, and maybe start making those checks good instead of bouncing a fool. If you listen to everybody that's come out of there, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we never bounced one on me, but then again, I never dealt with them with checks. You know?
He bounced one on me. Still haven't made good on it. I still like it.
Here's your answer.
Any Cactus questions, Mike?
Well, it's kind of for you, Cactus, Foley.
Okay, just answer questions, baby!
How many takes will it take to do your interview?
Mine?
Oh, there's the new one.
He's the one taker. Me too. Charlie, how many do I? Depends on the time. If it's during the day, I usually get stumbled once or twice. If it's like 4 in the morning, I rock and roll. I'm a night creature, man. I mean, once the sun goes down, I'm rolling. But you know, in the day, and plus you gotta realize I usually do my interviews when we usually leave segment 5 kind of open, so we finish segment 6, and how much time we leave segment 5? Okay, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. And we usually been in the studio for 3 days straight without any sleep. So I mean, usually when I do my interviews, it's like we're really dead tired, and that's when I like doing my interviews because I have an edge at that time. I'm just like I want to go and I'm in a bad mood. And that's how I used to do myself at TBS. I would never sleep before TV taping. Then I started taping every day, and it was a bitch. But I mean, it was. I like to keep my own edge. He's the one taker, as obviously is.
I got that Michael Bob Dylan thing.
I mean, that's a true story. You guys try driving 1,000 miles. 400-mile farm, and you start to go, you turn the radio on, and it's a proven method that I invented. But I got something as far as interviews, the story, and everyone's seen Sabu here, and everyone likes Sabu. And it always bothered me a little bit that he didn't seem to appreciate
interviews were people who gave them. And I think for large parts, because he really wasn't around when people were doing interviews.
No, he never was.
And I had a match that he was part of this past weekend in Las Vegas, and we did a few interviews beforehand, and Sabu was there. And after I was done, he just kind of looked at me and he said, "How do you do that?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You have to think for a long time before you do that?" And I said, "Well, not really. I just have a couple of ideas." And he said, "That's great. You don't even stumble over your words." And I mean, here's a guy that has a lot of respect for me, I think, in the ring, but had no idea about the other end of the sport because his uncle didn't do interviews and he never did. So the fact that when someone sees it, that they can appreciate it, I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get everyone, first off, to get what we say, to bring them into the arena or just to enjoy the show. But you also kind of want people to realize that it's a talent to give a good interview, and when I have trouble, I just ask that.
Any more matches?
What?
Any more matches? No.
No, I don't want to.
Do you feel more comfortable here than you did in WCW and what is WCW?
Comfortable?
Yes.
Not physically. Yeah. I mean, for example, with the exception the first time I was in here, seeing this guy doing this when I'm trying to speak. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Foley just talk, whenever you're done, that's fine, and you don't have countdowns and people doing this and giving signals and all that, and not, you know, and I guess wrapping up an interview and on cue is also a talent. But yeah, I always had to worry about offending people. You know, I went out there and I said about Van Hammer, we're champions.
Maybe we buy him show for him.
I said that. I said that he was a pimple on the butt of wrestling. And they made me do it over. They said we can't have it on the air. So I thought it was kind of strange. You know, that's like, butt is not really that strong a word where I come from. Now they do, as I'm watching the show, it also happens to be the first time that Rick Rude has done an interview. And his interview is live, so I see me saying, "Van Hammer, you're a pimple on the cheek of wrestling and I'm going to pop you," or whatever. And here's Rick Rude, and the first thing he says is, "Ding, you scumbag." So I learned real fast that when you have something a little bit different to say on WCW TV, you make sure it's live and make sure it's going to take them as many hours as possible to get it off the show, because chances are they're not going to do it. Paul Lee would take the time, if he didn't like something, to get it off the show, which is, if anyone saw the interview I did about my ear and about Kevin Sullivan, the only thing they did was take away the picture I showed of when I just lost my ear. Otherwise, I'm sure they weren't happy that they had that type of interview on their show, but at that point, there's nothing they can do about it. Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable here. I mean, this has been probably the best year I've ever had in wrestling, and a lot of it has to do with the lack of that corporate pressure. Good answer?
We have one who's been here for a while time. Cactus, I was interested in your interview where you talked about somebody who was respected in the world of wrestling and came up to you and said you'd be in the wheelchair by the age of 30. Who was that person who came up to you?
I made that up. Oh, the fun of it is I want you guys to think about who it is. I mean, actually, that specific instance, I'm thinking of one person. But the truth is that a lot of people said that. I mean, from the time they first saw me, you know, they weren't aware that I'd been doing some of that stuff for a long time. And the thing that bothers me is, I don't know how well I got it across the interview, but there are people who would be very happy to see someone like me never wrestle again. Just like there will be people who will be happy when Sabu finally goes to the table and can't get up, and it's a shame. And they would. I mean, I went to WCW. I had a note from a doctor, a legitimate doctor, that said, "Do not wrestle until future testing by a specialist. Do so would risk permanent and severe injury, including but not limited to loss of bowel and bladder function, loss of sexual control, and loss of muscles and limb movement." And I showed that to WCW, and they didn't believe me. I mean, I've wrestled with broken bones, I've wrestled with every conceivable injury. I've had other wrestlers come up to me and say, you can't come back that quick from an injury, it's going to make us look bad. And after putting forth for 3 years like that, even one of the agents said to me afterwards, he goes, you're doing the right thing. Because that's the one I wasn't going to wrestle in a pay-per-view. He said all it would be is we'd have a 10-minute conversation over a couple of beers and talk about how bad it was that Cactus Jack couldn't wrestle. And this is a guy who didn't even like me, but he said, you do what's best for you and your family. And for some reason, I ended up wrestling and sneaking up the fight anyway. Anyone see that match? The Bash the Beast, where me and Sullivan lost the belt to, that was great. It was horrible, right? But there was a point where the whole crowd was doing the wave, because they obviously weren't interested in what we were doing. And I had a front face lock on Paul Orndorff. This sudden urge went through me that it always does, and I can save this match. And I let it pass. It just wasn't working at all. So yeah, I mean, when people, it's just when you give and give and give, and then when the payoff comes, they still doubt you as if you were one of them. It kind of hurts your feelings, and you don't get that feeling here. You get the feeling that you're appreciated.
Like everybody, that's the whole thing. The whole dressing room, that's a real quirky thing here, is that all the guys encourage the other guys to do better. Everybody criticizes each other. Everybody's there for each other. It's a real team atmosphere.
When Vader dropped him on the floor and then landed,
You know what my first reaction was to that? I didn't think it would look good on TV because it didn't hurt enough. But then about 2 seconds later, it was like a computer, and you guys should know about that stuff, right? It was like on the hit, bam, and I thought, oh, it wasn't so bad. And then all of a sudden, my arm stopped working, you know, and it was pretty scary. I'll tell you what, I didn't think my career was over then. I thought my career was over when that first Lost in Cleveland segment aired. But you know what the thing, all right, I'm going to just, Vader ended up powerbombing me a year later. It showed 1 day shy from a year ago to the day that he did it the first time. And it was actually a better power bomb, except it was on the wood platform. And no one made any reference to a year ago. No one made any reference to the injury I'd had. They made a couple of jokes, and that was really a big factor in me deciding to leave. Yeah.
I'm from Dallas, and we had the Cactus thing for this stuff. And there was a lot of talk about you coming in there, one interview, and then nothing ever happened since. You could have been the one person that, I mean, not trying to blame you or anything, but they needed somebody desperately that people wanted to see, and you know, you'd been there before, because you know who you were. And what happened from your end that nothing ever came up?
Well, they asked me to, Jim Crockett spoke to me a few times. We agreed upon price and all that. I went down and did the interviews and then told them the dates that I had available. And I never heard another word from them. Actually, I did hear from a couple months ago, and I didn't return that call yet. Yes? Go ahead.
At the same time,
In area.
well, you think, before you finish, Malenko, would you please join us? Please. Ladies and gentlemen, I say you now, considering how Bill Alfonso implements the rules, that's the best you can do for a referee that lets it go.
You think head-to-head is the final fatal error that can do WCW in?
I think it's more indicative of the front office politics that are employed by everybody in Atlanta and WWF. To be honest with you, I think it's just, honestly, I think Ted Turner called their bluff, and I think they're going to stop. I think Eric Bishop went in there and went, yeah, you know, Ted, we did 1.9. Yeah, you know that ECW, they can't do shit, and Jim Crockett went out of business, remember? That's the jerk off you bought it from. And, you know, I just had my hair today, Ted, and I could really do some things with the Atlanta Hawks and everything, and, you know, give me what's that? Oh, this is a 3.9? Oh, he's on Monday nights on National, and we're not. But you know what?
Oh, yeah, we can do Monday night, but you'll never give us Monday night. No, you will. and then you know what happened? He went back to his booking committee, and here's what happened. Hogan sat there and went, who do I beat on Monday night? Kevin sat there and watched, and Ric Flair said, let's turn Alex Wright deals so I can get laid by 19-year-olds. And not one person sat there and said, holy shit, are we going to get our asses kicked? Except for Bischoff, who's probably right now sitting on his resume to every production studio in California. And if I were him, I'd do it. I think they are going to get their asses so fucking royally kicked, they ain't going to know what hit them. And not because they can't go head-to-head with Mick. And not because they can't, if they would pool their resources, they can't give it a good try. And not because if they really wanted to, they could have designed everything from new graphics things to new announcers to a different format to everything. I think they can. I just think they're too concerned with their own personal business. One guy just wants to beat everybody that's over 6'5". One guy just really wants to sit there. One guy wants to sit there and criticize everybody else. And one guy just wants to get laid because he's 46 years old. If they get their shit together, they might have a shot, but they don't. And they never will. Because they're tolerated that way. Bischoff should go in there and fire everybody. Who should fire himself? But that's the only chance they have. I think head-to-head, they're going to be massacred. I think they're going to be so royal. They're going to get stomped so fucking bad they don't even know what hit them. I think Ted's going to sit there and went, okay, I gave you a chance. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep the WCW name. It's going to be like the old Georgia Championship Wrestling. He's going to bring Ole Anderson back as the booker. They're going to take a whole bunch of guys out of Jody Hamilton school, and they'll keep staying on one other guy at over $100,000 a year, and everybody else is going to be working for $75 a night. And they'll do a couple TV tapings a week, and they'll have Thunder and Lightning as their tag team champions. And they certainly won't give a shit because they'll be on at 6:05 on Saturday nights for 1 hour, and they'll get a decent little rating for the $10,000 it's going to cost them to produce a show at a local venue in Atlanta when it gives away free tickets. That's what it's going to end up with. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll be a success. I just don't see it.
Do you think it would be bad for business if WCW, as we know it, goes under, or WCW period goes under?
Yes, because there's going to be an awful lot of great talent that's not able to find a lot of work. They have so much. They're so knee-deep in talent right now that they don't know what to do with these guys. That there's going to be a lot of guys out on the street. And to be honest with you, it's one less product to compare us to that we're better than. As long as they're there, then you guys have all the more reason to watch us. Let's say we give you a TV show and it's like, that was a decent TV show. I'll stack our absolute 100% worst hour of television against their best, and I think we're better. On our worst day, I think what we offer is better. I watched WWF today. To laugh. Man, I saw Waylon Mercy get in the ring. They have spent a ton of time with this, and he got in that ring, and it just blew. It blew. Then they did the big main event of Henry Godwin against Adam Bomb, which I'm sure thrilled everybody. And it didn't even live up to the expectations that those guys could produce. And that ain't much, but at least it's something. So, I don't want them to go out of business. I truly don't. It's something that I can always watch on Saturday night and say, no matter how bad we are, we're never that fucking bad. I know you had your hand up all day.
Mick, you and Foley are two names that I started watching together. I've wondered that for you a million times when they ask why you like Cactus says so much. I'm absolutely mesmerized by
Which of these guys is asking me?
Mostly on the net and people at work, but how can you respond to people that say, as far as we're concerned, he has no wrestling ability?
Pretty much true. What? Is that what people say? I have no wrestling ability?
Yeah. And I'm mesmerized by your style of wrestling, brawling, interviewing, everything. And I go to wrestling, but I don't see how you react when people say that.
I'd like to wrestle. To tell you the truth, it's hard to do wrestling here at ECW because there's so many other people that do it better, a lot better than I do. But when I go to different parts of the country, I do more wrestling and more mat wrestling and more whole
But yes, you need to change your style a little bit according to the fans, and I know from past experiences they don't like it that much. One thing I am going back kind of to the basics, because I would like to get away from the chairs and tables a little bit for a while. So if they criticize me for not wrestling, that's pretty much true. But if they say that my matches aren't exciting or that I don't put forth a lot of effort into what I do, then they're off base. But I think if you look through the years of matches I've had with wrestlers like Steve Regal or Bobby Eaton or anybody you can name, I can't offhand think of matches I've had with wrestlers that have just been bad. I think if you put me against Dean Malenko or against Chris Benoit, you may not see a real great wrestling match from me, but it'd be kind of like Paul Lee and I talked. Did anyone ever see the old matches between Brody and Flair, back when Flair, before he got kind of routine? Brody didn't do a lot of wrestling, but he forced Flair, who was the wrestler, into like a whole nother style. And classic matches between brawlers and wrestlers are one of my favorite things to see. So I think that, yeah, if you get down to it, I don't do a lot of wrestling, because I used to wrestle, and I also used to sleep in my car and eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I mean? So I noticed there was a direct correlation between when the wrestling started going down and the money started going up. So they can say what they want.
Another question for Tony. I'm just curious your opinion of how things changed for you going from pre-boy face to hardcore face to cinema.
He's hardcore. He's hardcore. Well, before, I wanted to say something about what you guys were talking about, the interviews. When I was in that mode, I had to come out and say, hey, this is Tommy Dreamer, and next week I'm going to, really hurt you, and I love everybody, and
trust me, he hates every one of you.
And that was like a character. And the best part about this company with interviews is Cactus Jack, he loves his children. He is a really articulate man, but he's also a psychopath in the ring. Taz, he's a quiet guy. He does his talking in the ring, but as you see here, he's not an animal, and he got away from that. Paulie's rude, but he says whatever he wants to say. That's Paulie. Shane Douglas, I am the franchise. Shane is like that. Sandman, as much as I have disdain for him, he drinks beers and smokes cigarettes. That's Sandman. We're all regular people. We're not like, I'm not a race car driver, and goddamn, I never want to be one. Me, that's what I thought I had to be to survive and, to try to make something in wrestling. But I grew up watching Kevin Sullivan spike Blackjack Mulligan. I grew up watching Randy Savage putting Ricky Morton through a table, and I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan since I was, and I wanted to be that, but I had to get out of the mold. The only person who helped me get out of the mold was Paulie and you guys. Because if I was a wrestler, I'd be in the audience with you guys watching ECW saying, this is the best shit I ever seen.
Let me clarify what he's saying.
And I also think Cactus should do a drop toe hold with barbed wire tonight. Improve his wrestling ability.
There was one time when the fans were kind of on Tommy, and I thought I knew the root of the problem, and I pulled him aside and I said 3 words that changed his life. Lose the suspenders. As hardcore as he's become, broken fingers and all, I guarantee you, if you were to put those suspenders back on, the people would have a building.
All right. But that's the only transition. I mean, I'm a regular guy, and I grew up watching TV, and I love the hardcore matches, and I got a chance to do what I like to do. And I also, another true story, when I was a little kid, I loved Bob Backlund, and I went to the arena, and I wanted to see Bob Backlund wrestle. And I waited all night for Bob Backlund to give me an autograph. After this match, he said, I'll be right back. Bob Backlund never came, and I waited all night. And I was like, this is a guy I love, this goody two-shoe, baby face type of character. And I said, man, I hate that guy. And I started to really root for the bad guys, but
I couldn't act like one, you know, and that, no, you're supposed to look like this, you know, that's what I thought I had to do, but, you know, I like bringing wrestling into the crowd, you know, I do. I like back. I like having a fan hold up a chair, and I hit the guy, you know, because in that person's case, I bring the wrestling to the people, you know, because that person can't say that was fake. They held the chair. Someone hands me a frying pan or whatever, I hit a guy with it, they can't say that was a prop, that guy, because it was, you know, it was me. And if it takes me every person to get to it, to make a believer out of what I do and whatever we do, you know, I'll do it.
One question. Cactus over some of you have progressed so much, and there's some person like Paul, Walker, and Tommy. I just want to know where you got that shirt, because that's like the best movie on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I got a poster, but I want a t-shirt now.
Where did I get the shirt? Oh, okay. I got it from this kid Frankie. Well, he watches our stuff, and he kind of, you know, made a comment like, you get a little crazy in the ring, you know, so that was it.
Aside from yourself, who do you think is the best brawler wrestling today?
Backlund. I said a couple of years ago, I guess, when I won that Bruiser Brody Award, I said I thought that Vader deserved it. And I mean, this year I think he's lost a little bit because the thing, you know, intensity isn't there since he's been against Hogan. So I wouldn't say it was there. I think you'd have to bring the awards. I mean, among the ECW guys, Tommy's turned into a hell of a brawler. Public Enemy are great brawlers. But there's one thing that Terry Funk said that I'm trying to apply a little bit. And one of the Rotten brothers asked him what the difference between a great brawler and a great wrestler was. And Terry said that, I'll tell you what Terry said, and then Foley will do it like Terry said.
No, I won't, you son of a bitch. Stay the hell out of it. Damn it.
But he said the difference between a great wrestler and a great brawler is the great wrestler knows when to brawl. And that's what I'm trying to see. That's why I said I might like to do a little more wrestling, because then it would make the brawling that I do seem a little more important. Okay? Right it back.
I'm from Missouri.
Thanks. Sorry. Show me, baby. Huh? You're the man. You are the man.
You got a startup team that does wanted posters.
Right.
And on there it has, it says that you have a wrestling school. Did you really have one?
Oh yeah. Well, what happened was I was going to start one in Atlanta, but that was after I left WCW, and I kind of, my wife was starting to express some interest in going back to modeling, and I knew if we did that, we'd be up in New York again, and I didn't really want to make a commitment to a bunch of guys in Georgia and not to fulfill that. And I'm going to start having a school. We're just looking for a building in Long Island, and that's part of the thing that I'm going to enjoy about it is I found when my wrestling really improved is when I was teaching guys myself. And you'd be surprised at how much stuff I do know that I haven't done in the past 7 or 8 years. So yeah, I would like to train some guys, partially because it would be a good way to make a little bit of money, honestly. Hopefully a lot of money. Secondly, it would be nice to kind of leave a legacy, you know, and even if my guys went up into TV for WWF or whatever, just the fact that they say those are Cactus Jack's guys and they know a little bit about what they're doing would make me feel good. And if I were to train, you know, one of these new stars, like I'm sure Dominic Minucci's proud of what Shane and I have done.
And I'd like to be proud of a couple of guys that I trained, but it hasn't happened yet. But anyone who knows someone who wants to be a wrestler, lives in the New York area, let me know.
Yes, I want to know who among the big two, if any, you think should survive being in ECW?
What, wrestling?
Yes.
Oh, Vader for one. I mean, for one, I'd like to know how many of us could survive him. Steve Austin. My personal pick? Yeah, Steve Austin and Brian Pillman. I mean, I'll be real honest with you. Brian, I got Brian Brian was supposed to go to WCW 3 months before he did. He was gonna, the original deal was when Randy Rose was out to bring in Tom Pritchard to team with Dennis Conley. And then Dennis was going to step back and be like the Uncle Isaac. He was going to be like a coach. And there was this kid from Calgary, and I'd seen some tapes of him. Actually, it was a guy that he was working with that sent me the tape because I was in Alabama. You know, it's just a long story. Anyway, make a long story short, Brian's been in WCW, and I to this day don't think they have ever, not even one time, even in the Hollywood one, they never gave Brian a chance to show you guys what he really is. He is one of the damnedest performers you will ever meet, and he's so hungry. And the fact, and you know real well, since day one that he came in there, they've done nothing but just try to just break his spirit and break his enthusiasm, and just every time Brian will sit there and go, you know, he has a message with Steve Austin when I was with Steve, and we'd be like, okay, this, 22-minute matches, and they just walk over and go, like my grandma would walk over, and just go, oh, man, tomorrow's TV. Oh, great, but these people pay. You know, they did everything to squash Brian's enthusiasm. I don't blame him. I mean, and to be honest with you, I'm glad he made them all look like assholes against Alex Wright, because he stole the show with Alex Wright. He took a guy that nobody wanted to have any interest in Alex Wright, and he got the whole, everybody who watched that show acknowledged, this was a cool match. This match showed a lot. Austin could survive. Steve Austin, nobody there has ever had a clue. Not that I would have a clue, but I mean, certainly I might have one better than they do, what to do with Steve Austin. I mean, we took Shane Douglas and did what we did with Shane. The same could be done with Steve Austin. I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, this guy is just, he's so hungry. I mean, every night he's just coming back and go, oh man, it could have been better. It could have been better. I wish it was better. Tomorrow it'll be better. I know it'll be better. And he should just sit up all night and drive me nuts because he wants it to be better. Rick Rude could really survive. Bret Hart. Shawn Michaels. Owen Hart. I mean, there is a wealth of talent out there that can do it if they, but here's the key, if they want to. Now, I know Pillman would want to. I know when Pillman came here that one night, man, he wanted to, and he could have. To be honest with you, that was a personal thing with Brian, because Brian didn't get the notification to be here until 3 o'clock that afternoon. He got on a 4 o'clock plane, and he just went into California. And he not slept the night before, and his wife was having complications from some sort. She had been sick the week before. Her stomach was real sick, and he's supposed to be home with his wife. And we were going to sue WCW. They didn't send us Pillman. And I called up and just said, please, and he said, okay, I'll come. I mean, he came in here and still gave a hell of a performance for a guy that had that much on his mind, you know, so. Brian Pillman, Steve Austin, Vader, Shawn. Who else? And Mount Rocket. Actually, he could, because he's not bad. Actually, with all due respect, I mean, I'll knock him because, you know, of what they put him in, but, he's got a good to have it. How bad
the Nasty Boys do well. Probably Chris Candido. Yeah, it's like you said, there has to be guys that want to do it. Because I've worked with a lot of names that came out of WWF, especially since I've been independent, and believe me, they don't want to do it.
I'll give you one more example. I'll tell you a guy who could do it but won't. Ric Flair. You give me Ric Flair versus Shane Douglas, and you give me a month with them, and I'll show you a different Ric Flair. But he has to be willing to do it. Because nobody there prompts Flair to do something different. Nobody was, God bless you, sir, thank you, sir. I know you're a big fan of mine. My children tell me that you're their favorite. Woo! They go, yes, Rick, and you're my favorite too, Nate. Nobody had the ball stuck to him and go, yo, Rick, you suck. Come on.
Come on, do what you did with Savage, and then take it from there. He's gonna rest on that thing, and he's gonna feel okay, look, Randy up to do the same match, sir. You know, we have those spots down there. It'll be a beautiful match, sir. God bless you, sir. You know, my children said you and Elizabeth, they were great together. It's just, nobody pushes him. No, nobody motivates him. Nobody puts the fire underneath his ass. And if somebody would, because those who do, he gets out. He goes, oh, they have a bad attitude. Get rid of him, sir. You know, Funk tried to push him, and he just pushed Funk right out of the way. Hogan did one thing, and Flair goes, okay, so I'll just retire. I don't want to do this. You know, but Ric Flair could put in here almost as good as anybody else, because Ric Flair's one of the most extremely talented individuals I've ever met in my life. I disrespect him for the fact that he allows himself not to be as great as he can be. Because believe me, he can be as great as anybody in this business. Him versus Shane could have gone all the way. And I wanted that too. And he wouldn't even appear. He was like, what's ECW? And he could have really done something special here with Shane. He could have taken the time to do something with Shane here that he wouldn't do with Austin or Pillman in WCW. He could have brought Shane up into that strategy. He didn't want to do it.
Now you gotta take your time off. You work a year, then say, I'll take 6 months off, or you say, work 1 month, take a day off, work again.
I don't think we get.
No, there's no season. It's not like football or baseball. Tommy spends his time off at the doctor. And Taz spends his time off bitching that he has time off. I don't want to wrestle tonight. I want to hurt somebody. Fucking shit, fuck. He goes down to 7-Eleven and picks fights. Right? True. Yeah, we got to keep him busy.
Question as far as, since you've had all this experience, what are, in your opinion, the best and worst angles that you've ever
Seen?
Yeah, seen or done, whatever.
Wow. Best angle I ever saw as a fan was when Eddie Gilbert put the Russian flag on Cowboy Bill. But the best part of it was afterwards. When Jim Ross came back on the air and wouldn't cry. And you knew he wanted to cry. And I think he's talented enough that if he had to cry on cue, especially when they put a Russian flag on Bill Watts, the fact that Watts would have beaten the fucking shit out of him if he didn't. I made you to cry, Jim! But when Jim Ross came back on the air and said, just a personal moment here, when they put that flag on Bill Watts, there's going to be dues to pay. Because that man, he don't get mad, folks. He gets even. I sat there and I went, Bill Watts is going to kill him. Oh, man, this is like 3 months before I broke in, and I was still there going, I got to go to Oklahoma City and see that. Wow. It was an angle that had everything in it. I think the best one, and I'm not objective as anything that we've done here, so I don't know. I think the worst one we did was Shane and Tully. It just didn't work. And I know you guys know. Time and time again, I know you guys know. I don't know. We've done, I think the Alfonso thing's a home run here. I think the Cactus Jack Shane Douglas can be. The Cactus Jack Shane Douglas. We acknowledged them as best friends when he won the tag team title, which was August 27th, 1994, and they've yet to throw a punch. And we've had this tension between them since August. We started the Tommy Dreamer Sandman thing back last July with him kissing women. The three-way dance is another thing. The Public Enemy and the Gangsters, because everybody thought they knew, but they didn't know they know. The Raven Dreamer thing, which is taking its time. For me, my favorites are the ones that take the longest time. How much can you get out of everything? How many different intricate parts of the storyline can you weave in? The best one that I feel I was involved in myself before I did this was probably the Money Back Guarantee with Austin Idol and Jerry Lawler. Oh, yeah. Which, when you're 21 years old and 12 weeks in the business and they're trying to kill you, you're sitting there going, we're over! It's working! Holy shit, this is great! Hey, Idol, what do we do? And they're Tommy Rich going, I've been underneath the rain for 10 hours. I got a piss. And he had to. Because we stuck him underneath the rain at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're getting a 12-pack of beer. There's nowhere to piss. And we were stuck in that cage for 45 minutes after he shaved his head, and all Tommy had to do was keep going, I got a piss. I was like, well, piss a lower. I don't know. I mean, to me, I never looked at any individual incident as a favorite. I mean, I could sit there and say, well, you know, hey, mine should be me and Jimmy when we hit the CBS studios. But I like to think. To me, you can always do a great incident. What happens after? It's the follow-up. It's the swerving. It's the thinking that you know, but not knowing that you know, and it's sitting there going, I got it figured out. Oh, I got this one out. It can't fool me. Oh shit! What's the truth? That's my favorite part.
Well, what about the worst one that you've ever seen?
I've ever seen? Oh, I think I think overall products can be bad. I don't think that was true.
The worst one, I think it's one that completely takes away any believability. The one that's coming to mind is when Jason Hervey had the one-man gang doll and was shaking it around and the gang was falling down and that type of thing. I've seen a lot of bad things happen.
How about the Undertaker yoga in a casket?
Oh, I've seen worse than that. How about Shockman?
Well, it's a comedy act.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's I don't know.
I think
Say it again. Depends on
your dream match.
Depends on what you're doing. See, and depends on how much time I had to do things with it. To this day, I would still say if I had TV in Charlotte, North Carolina for a year, and I'd seen Douglas ragging on Ric Flair, and Flair came down and said, okay, enough's enough. Next time he mentions my name, I'm going in there and telling him to kick his ass. That could have meant a lot. You know, or you do the same in Memphis, you know, and you get your TV show on in Memphis. Like what they did with Jerry Lawler and Randy Savage finally came out after 3 years of knocking each other on their own respective TVs. You know, what would I want to see myself? I don't know. You know, I talk a lot about, you know, you put Public Enemy in there with people that can go with them. Public Enemy and the Gangsters one. I'm interested in seeing how that goes. I mean, I would like to see Public Enemy and the Headhunters. I'd like to see Public Enemy and the Gangsters. I'd like to see Terry Funk take a year off and get really, really healthy and force Cactus Jack to beat him and to really beat him. You know, to force Cactus Jack to say, for me to be the best brawler, for me to inherit the throne that was passed down to me by Frank Brody and Stan Hansen and Terry Funk, I got to really earn it and take 100% of Terry Funk and let them do what they can do. Turn Tommy Dreamer and Raven loose. You know, and just clear the fucking way for them to put Taz in with Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, I love Eddie Guerrero.
You know, I mean, obviously, you know, Guerrero and Benoit can be a great match, and then you're talking about similar styles. You know, with Guerrero and Malenko, or Benoit versus Malenko even there. But how about Taz against Guerrero? What happens when Guerrero's outweighed by that much? But what happens when somebody is uniquely faster than Taz? Because most of the guys, like when he wrestles Sabu's not that much faster than Taz. He can fly, but he's not that fast. He's not that quick. And Guerrero just, he's all over the place. It's like Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. You know? It all depends on what type of, I mean, from the scientific aspect to the brawling aspect, you know, exactly, you know, what somebody's looking for. You know what I'm saying? It's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing to match up. I always thought, to me, and we did this, and do great, and the tape sold, was Taz and Sabu against Benoit and Malenko. because Benoit was there, you know, for Sabu, and Malenko didn't want, and Malenko sat there, and that's not really his style, but here's Taz and Malenko, and they're taking each other down with suplexes and dropping each other on their heads, and they're busting each other's shoulders and everything, and there's Sabu and Benoit. So I mean, it's all different styles, you know. I see Cactus Jack can stand here. Because you know, you talk about a guy who has a reputation as a brawler, they don't want Hanson against Kobani. Or watch Hanson against Masawa. Tell me Hanson ain't a wrestler. Tell me Hanson doesn't bring to the table everything that some of the younger guys do. Hanson's a hell of a wrestler. And you imagine Cactus Jack can stand Hanson wrestling?
That's the one I was thinking of. If you asked me who I'd like to wrestle, I'd say it'd be Hanson in Japan. You know, where he meant everything. Or Steve Williams in Japan. That would be my dream up. Or I wish Shane wasn't leaving, because I would really like to be able to. I haven't wrestled Shane in many years, you know, certainly not since either has got any kind of recognition, and I really think that it would be a hell of a match. I really think it's a shame that he's leaving, and no one will get to see that, and probably never will.
Yeah, we only got like 5 minutes. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Glenn. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. Last time was my first ECW show, and it was really looking forward to tonight's show. It's a great product. It's certainly a better alternative to the majors. But this is for you, Cactus, anyway. Just talking about how your wrestling improved after you were teaching students how to wrestle. Do you think looking from another perspective helps you? And if you start up a wrestling school, that'd be your full-time occupation, or you hope to wrestle also?
No, I would wrestle also. I'm saying, I mean, even simple things like I mean, I don't do top wrist locks, but to teach someone how to do it and how to do it correctly. I'll say I can't do a lot of things. I'm very limited physically. I never even won the 50th percentile when we were doing the fitness test in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Because I couldn't run fast enough, or I couldn't jump far enough. But I do think the things that I do all are done well.
You work your strengths for what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Clint Eastwood. He said a man's got to know his limitations, right?
Yeah.
And I know my limitations. But I think I have kind of, and I talked to Paul, I said, I have felt like maybe I've gone a little bit to one end being here.
One-dimensional.
Yeah, well, not one-dimensional, but, I mean, when you're with the Sandman, you don't have much choice, right? You know you're going to hit with a stick, and the people don't want to see that kind of match. I just hope, and I'll go out and interview and say, hey, I'm prepared to lose a few fans along the way who might not like this, but I also might take up some new ones who say, hey, the guy can do some stuff. And I don't know if I can do it, you know, but I'd like to find out.
Yeah. One more thing, if you ever, say, graduate from your wrestling school, because I suppose you're loyal to Foley, would you want him to wrestle for ECW, or you just want him to get a contract with any promotion?
Well, yeah, it would be great if he came in and wrestled for ECW, but if I had a guy who doesn't fit that style at all, right, like I'd bring in Mikey Whipwreck as my assistant, you know, and I can't do Mexican moves off the top rope and things like that, but I bring in someone who could. I did an interview and I said that my dad has been an educator his whole life, you know, and I'm really proud of the way that he conducts his class. So I would like to be like a professor in there, right, with guest lecturers and everything, so that guys, if they want to wrestle, you know, ultimate fight style, I would hopefully be able to teach them some of that. If they want to do UWF style, or if they came in and said, hey, I really like to wrestle in Mexico, or if somebody came in and said, all I want in the world is to wrestle ECW, I'd try to do as least as best I could to teach them whatever the hell I knew. Yeah, they're okay.
Yes, with the WWF and WCW brand lost their super element. With you, brand that you have, how can they get their side, if they can?
Bobby Heenan went to Atlanta. I saw Bobby one of his last night. I knew I was a big fan of him. I was a big fan of Bobby. Shouldn't because he lasted 30 years. You got to admire that. I couldn't keep a job. This is the longest I've ever had. And I took this job because nobody else would hire me. That's true. Bobby's been around for 30 years. Never put a day on him to sleep. I asked Bobby, I said, what's wrong with what Vince does? He goes, what's the problem with what Vince does is that Vince doesn't listen to who he should and listens to who he shouldn't. There are people in both organizations who are very qualified to bring back that element to wrestling. And if they're speaking up, they're not being listened to, and if they're not speaking up, it's because they're not about it. People are there. I mean, it's just what people.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, my question is for Tommy. Tommy, a couple years ago, I met you to take us over to his height statement. It was a white plane, and you had a tryout. It's like crank it up. 50 people who were around in 87 get excited. They're looking for Roman Towers. No Roman Towers. You come out. You're doing with Lombardi. Lombardi appeared to do everything in his power to make sure you didn't get a job. Crowd sat on their hands. 30 matches on the show. I thought, even with Lombardi not working at 6, I thought it was one of the 2 or 3 better matches on the show. Could you just explain your whole scenario with Tyson and why it didn't work out?
Thank God it didn't work out. You know, but, I mean, you got a job, you go out and do it. You know, I mean, I was a new guy coming in. That guy's been there forever. You know, there is no say. So, I'm happy it didn't work out. You know, and seriously, on a personal note, about ECW being so successful and all the guys working hard, it's all because of you guys. Because you guys pay to see us, and it's always what we all wanted to have seen. Because without you guys, there would be nothing. So that's it, really. Thanks. See you all later.
By the way, don't leave. Cactus is willing to stay here for you for a few extra minutes. If you want him, if you want him. If he's not welcome, thank you. If he's not welcome, please let him know. As a parting thought from me, just to let you know, we genuinely appreciate the fact that you guys, through criticism or through compliments, have so many different postings about us, to the point where you've raised curiosity level, to the point where there's a lot of you who were here before, and a lot of you who are probably going to experience this for the very first time. That helps us. I mean, let's be honest. You know, you gotta sell tickets. You know, if you don't sell tickets, you ought to do it. Then you gotta sell advertising and all that. But anyway, tonight is a lot different from last night. A lot of people said to me the first time they experienced ECW, they're like, "Wow, man, that was pretty wild in Jim Thorpe." And tonight's a little different, a tad different. This is something that, as I described in the Torch Talk, when I was a kid, I went to concerts not because I'd done the music, but because I used to just like to be part of that jam. When I go to the Knicks just to chant defense. I used to dream of going to Chicago. One of my first times when I was in Windy City, I went to Chicago. I went to a ball game just to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and that's what we view the ECW Arena to be about. It's just a mass get together. It's a jam, and some things tonight will do good, some things tonight we won't do good. We're going to try to make everything do good, and you never hit 1,000. But we really do appreciate that you guys, and this ain't no BS speech, but we really do appreciate that you guys cared enough to spend your money, to get on an airplane, come to Philadelphia, to stay in a Holiday Inn, and to go down to South Philadelphia to, have you never seen this building? Man, you're going to pull up outside and go, it's a toaster. You know, you won't believe it. I mean, the first time I pulled up to the building, I turned to Eddie Gilbert and I said, where's the building? And he said, that's the building. And I said, nice rib. And I couldn't believe it. And he said, no, man, it's cool in there. And what the guys are going to do tonight is what they do every time that they go out to the ring for this organization. That they're going to try to give you, because you have the best show that they can possibly give. We personally hope you enjoy it. We personally hope we don't take out the joint. And we personally hope when the night is over, you're happy about something enough to brag about it, pissed off about enough things to come back the next time to say, I want to see how this gets resolved. And that when you walk out of the building at night, you sit there and you walk away after 3 hours or 3.5 hours ago, I went through all this range of emotion. I saw wrestling, I saw fighting, I saw fight for life, I saw world title matches, I saw this, I saw that. And the bottom line is, when you leave, the only thing we really hope that you say is, I had a good time. And on a personal note, thank you for flying in. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to show you what we do and what they do, And bottom line is, I just hope you have a good time. So, it's up to us to give you that good time, and tonight, I hope we succeed in our goal. The floor belongs to Kevin.